3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 174 of Ruse Radio.
174.
174. That's right. You are the I want to say 59th episode of this year.
59.
Yeah.
Wow. That's almost like every week you have. At least
3 days. Every 3 days.
Every 3 days. That's insane.
I feel like that's because I was studying. I was thinking like, if I want a podcast that's actually going to gain traction and follow the path of a successful podcast, what does that look like? And I think most of them do that. I think most podcasts in like the format that I'm doing, where it's just conversations and all that, it's not just once a week. It is like a little bit more than that.
Like,
so,
I think
Theo Von's doing, I think, 8 episodes a month now, which is a lot.
Wow.
I think 7 or 8.
What about Joe Rogan? I think that's the biggest one, right?
He's the one where I looked. It was like, I think I went from 2023 to 2013, so that 10-year stretch. Maybe it was 2024 to 2014. But that's what it was. It was about 1,000 episodes, maybe more than that. And then if you do the math, that's every 3 to 4 days.
Wow.
So I was thinking, like, if I really want... And also, I have this grand goal in my mind, because I'm thinking, if my average podcast episode, and this doesn't have to be the case, but if it is, it's 2.5 hours. If the average episode is 2.5 hours, and then I want to have 10,000 hours of podcast experience, that is 4,000 episodes.
Wow.
I'm a nerd. This is the type of thing I think about.
It's like you do it in like 10,000 hours, and
But that's 4,000 episodes. And so right now, we're at 174.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking this is like not even... 200 is 5%.
Yeah.
We're not even close. So, and Joe Rogan's at 2,000 something. And so I think about it, he's not even there yet. You know, it's like, if you really want to do something, and I think it's a great way to look at it. It's kind of like comedy. You want to look at comedy like that. I'm going to be doing this forever. So think about it in terms of forever, not just in terms of right now.
Even Joe Rogan wasn't big when he had like 200 episodes, right?
Well, it's interesting to me because I've heard him say like, oh, I used to have only 200 listeners. And I'm thinking, dude, if I had 200 people watch every episode, that'd be so awesome. Because it's just it's a whole different ball game than what he's doing and what it's how all social media works. I think if you're somebody who's already developed a stature somewhere else, then it's much easier for you to integrate yourself and come to social media and then develop a character or a podcast or whatever it is. You just you can adapt that because you're already famous. People already know you. Joe Rogan was already popular for a lot of other things he had done when he started the podcast. He was already a comedian for a while. He was already known for, what else had he done around that time?
UFC?
He was already UFC, so UFC and comedy. And I don't know if he already did, I think the show was after that. He did a show on a certain channel. I think it was those two things. The Carlos Mencia thing was during his No, that was before the podcast, if I'm right. That was like 2004. Do you know about the whole Joe Rogan, Carlos Mencia?
No.
Carlos, it was a long time ago, and Carlos Mencia was stealing jokes publicly. Like, he was taking Bobby Lee. He took some of Bobby Lee's jokes. It was a big thing at the Comedy Store. And so everybody in LA, everybody knew that he was stealing jokes, and it was just kind of something nobody was really saying anything about because...
It's like 2004?
I want to say, but that's what I feel like I can't remember because I was trying to align it with Joe Rogan's podcast, which I think started around 2008, 2009. So that's what's making me think this happened before that. But I might be wrong. It might be 2006. I mean...
Yeah, I was born in 2003, so...
Oh, look at that.
So I have no idea. I was like 2-3 years old.
Let's find out. Carlos Mencia, Joe Rogan. Because it'll pop right up. The incident was... When was it? That's what I want to know. Is incident... Yeah, it's just not going to tell me 2005. There it is.
2005. Okay.
Let's see. Actually, it framed it in a funny way here. What did it say? In 2005, Rogan famously stormed the stage at the Comedy Store, accusing Mencia of stealing jokes. The incident was caught on video, and the Comedy Store slapped Rogan for interrupting Mencia's set. But the damage was done.
Wow. So he stopped doing comedy?
No, actually, Carlos Mencia still does comedy. He was just in Chicago not even that long ago. I think he's probably still got a fan base. I mean, it's one of those things. See, you're always going to have...
So he was popular, actually.
He was very popular back then. He was really popular. And that's what made it... That's why Joe Rogan said something. Because it's like there's this big comic just stealing jokes from everybody blatantly.
Yeah.
And like in that video, there was a video, I think, of Joe Rogan talking to Bobby Lee that came out too, where like he's saying to Bobby Lee, "Hey, why don't you say something to him? He's stealing your jokes." And Bobby Lee is saying, I don't want to," because that's how everybody would be. Nobody wants to rock the boat. It was a big deal when that happened. I think, I think that's why I brought it up, because it's another thing that kind of put Joe Rogan in the public eye. He was already being seen as that guy, and things like that play into it. Because, yeah, it's just you're gonna do a podcast forever, and I feel like you're gonna start with the thing that's funny about Joe Rogan's podcast, and like the fact that he's done it for such a long time, and he used to have so little viewers. If you watch the first episode, it's a webcam. There's no microphones. They're just in front of a webcam, and they couldn't get rid of the snowflakes or something. So there's snowflakes raining in front of their faces, like a webcam effect. And that's the whole podcast. That's the first episode.
Without even the mics.
And my first episode of this podcast was filmed in my car while I was driving. I was talking into my phone, and that was how I recorded the episode. So I think it's a similar path when I think about it. Like, I think you're supposed to start really bad.
Yeah. Now you have the mics, you have the
camera. And comedy you start bad. Comedy you always aren't great when you start. I feel like that's what comedians will always tell you.
Yeah, you start with mics, you have 2 minutes, 3 minutes,
And you're not as good. Like, you, even when you think you're good, you look back at what you did before and you just keep getting better.
Like, I can't watch the videos of myself like doing comedy like 2-3 years ago.
How long have you done it for?
I've started in high school 3 years ago probably.
Okay.
Maybe 3 years ago. I'm in Kazakhstan, so I was doing that in Russian and Kazakh languages. So after that, that's my first time in US. It's been 6 months. I was doing like comedy in English for 6 months for the first time.
So, is the humor universal with that kind of thing? Are you able to translate jokes in a way that makes sense? Like, are you able to take a joke that you wrote there and translate it to English, and it still works, or no?
I think stand-up jokes are not translated to English. Like, I tried some of my jokes, but maybe it's a funny premise, but definitely need to change the words or like change the angle of the premise.
Like the phrasing, like the way that you put the words together.
It's not the literal translation. Yeah.
Interesting.
You have to think about how do Americans say that. Like, I don't know.
How long have you spoke English for?
Oh, I started learning like in middle school.
Okay.
Probably. So, maybe it's been like 10 years now.
All right.
Wow, 10 years of learning English. And now I'm on the podcast. Yeah, it's my first time on a podcast, guys.
That's exciting.
Yeah, sorry for my English. English is my third language. Yeah.
I don't know any language other than English. I've tried to learn Spanish and
I think every American's tried to learn Spanish.
German. I tried to learn German too. Okay. That's a fun one, right? I don't know why. I think it was just something that like it was suggested to me on Duolingo or something when I was in like 10th grade. It was a long time ago. Like der ist Munk. Like I remember a bunch of words like that.
I feel like everyone had Duolingo. Like tried to like different languages. Yeah.
It's not bad. Rosetta Stone used to be the thing. If you remember that. That was a thing people, I think it was like a program you'd get on your computer. Before Duolingo, it was Rosetta Stone, and everybody could get that, and that's how you could learn language. Because it was based on the actual Rosetta Stone, which is some tablet from years.
Was it free?
No, it costed money. But you know, the Rosetta, that was a stone tablet from a long time ago that translated some languages we'd never known before. I can't remember what the languages were. So that's what the program's name was based on. But I think Duolingo kind of took over with that. There's someone else, one of my coworkers had suggested to me.
Now.
What is that?
There's so many apps.
I was going to say there's a different one. Yeah. I can't remember what it's called. I think Spanish would make sense as the language to learn living here in Chicago. That's why I wanted to learn Spanish now, because I learned Spanish in high school like most Americans probably do. It's probably like Spanish and a couple other things.
Okay.
That seems to be the thing, because that's what it was in my school. It was Spanish. There was actually a sign language school
Sign
class
language
in my.
Yeah, I would take that.
That would be a useful one.
Yeah. But,
that would actually come in handy a lot more than you'd think. I feel like, yeah, because I don't know any sign language. But two things. One, I feel like everybody should learn another language at a young age. Like if you had a kid, you'd want them to learn a language at a young age, because I think it makes your brain think differently, and then you can learn a bunch of different languages. And I think that's why I struggle
like
now.
Skill, if you develop as a child, it will be easier to learn other languages too. Definitely.
Yeah,
I think people now even use like ChatGPT and AI for language learning. Like I heard like people use the voice function on ChatGPT just to like, okay, now talk to Spanish with me, like beginner level, and like they start like, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Oh wow!
And ChatGPT responds. Yeah.
So, I think it was Tito. I was talking with this about talking with him about this. I was talking with Tito about this. That was a very poorly formed sentence. But I was talking with Tito.
Language is fine. You can.
This is my native language.
Yeah, you can do it whatever you want with it. Yeah.
But
I still get you.
Tito, I was talking with him, and he was telling me about like schooling and how that's going to be a big thing with AI, and how AI is going to come in and take over with education. And I didn't really think about it that way, because what you just said to me, again, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like with the whole idea of taking AI and laying it out in a school and allowing kids to ask it questions and all that, like that seems like a more effective way of learning. It's more personal. Like if I have a question that I need to understand something, not only am I asking somebody who knows the information, I'm asking like somebody who knows all the information. Like your teacher has a limited amount of resources, but the AI has everything. So it's just crazy the amount of like personalization you could get with education with something like that.
Did you hear that like Arab Emirates are actually like giving free subscription for ChatGPT for every citizen? Like you don't have to pay like 20
Where
bucks. Arab Emirates.
Really?
Yeah, the one that was in the Mission Impossible movie that we watched before the podcast. The Burj Khalifa building.
Yeah, we were watching the homie Tom Cruise climbing some buildings right before this, regular stuff. But yeah, that is crazy. That's crazy they would do that. I mean, it makes sense. Because, I mean, it's going to take over. It's just a matter of when. That's what I was talking with Tito about. I mean, that's the basic conversation. You'll hear it a million times. It's crazy how it's become like that, because
so
it really
fast.
is like the future dystopia. Like it's just crazy how everything's normal. Like that's not normal.
It's too fast.
It's too fast. And we're just so used to things happening so fast that it's just like, oh yeah, that's just the thing. That's just what's happening. But no, that's the robots that are going to take over the world. That's what that is. That's obviously what that is. Yeah. There's already videos of cops having like robotic dogs that can shoot out of their face.
Shoot?
I'm pretty sure.
No way.
I'm pretty sure there's at least military like dogs, like they run on all fours.
Wow.
There was a Black Mirror episode where it was a bunch of robots that ran on all fours and killed people.
I watched maybe like 1-2 episodes of Black Mirror, but
it's a good show.
Yeah,
the new season I actually liked a lot more than I thought I was gonna like.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about the new season.
I liked it, and the first couple seasons were pretty. I mean, even season 4 was pretty alright. It's just been so long since I've seen the original episodes. I watched them so long ago, but the new season was pretty good. What that show is? Are you familiar with the Twilight Zone? Probably not.
No.
So the Twilight Zone is the whole concept is. Every single episode is this sci-fi thing where like we're in this dystopian like future reality, the Twilight Zone.
And every episode is different.
And every episode is a whole different cast of characters, and every episode is like it's kind of like mind bending, like it's supposed to like surprise you with how they approach it, and it's a pretty good show. And so that's what Black Mirror is kind of trying to be, is like a modern version of what the Twilight Zone was in the 60s. It's this technology version of the Twilight Zone, where now it's the technology future that we're the I mean, the newest season, a lot of it was, what I think is funny about that show when I was watching the new season is like, it's so much closer to reality now than when the show started. Because now, like, the whole show's kind of AI, and like they're embracing the AI thing. But that's not what they were doing in the first season. But like AI's in real life now, so
they're just predicting the future. Yeah, that's gonna happen in 1 year.
Yeah. Oh. And like the first, there is things where they've kind of predicted the future. Where the first season, I think it was, you could talk to a loved one that has passed away. They're just you have to send this company all of the memories that you have of the person.
ChatGPT, yeah.
And I think this exists now. I think you can pay a company and give them all the information of your loved one. I think it exists.
Yeah, even during the class, we were talking about like AI boyfriends and girlfriends. Like that's actually a thing right now.
Even that one,
and
I feel like we haven't really seen it yet. We're just seeing the very beginning of the AI boyfriend girlfriend thing. It hasn't even really started. That's why that's crazy, because that's like something. There was a story that came out just recently of a kid who had committed suicide because of his AI girlfriend that he was speaking with. Like, maybe obviously it's not just because of the AI girlfriend, but I think what the story was is that right before he had committed suicide, he had messaged the AI girlfriend something along the lines of like, should I do it, or something like that, and then the AI encouraged him to do it.
Wow.
And then there was a lawsuit, and the company said, no, the AI is not, we can't, the AI, I think they tried to say the AI had free speech rights. I think that was what the crazy part was. And that's why I say, again, we're on like the very beginning of all the craziness of all this. That's like the first story you're going to hear. There's going to be a bunch of those. There's just no way there's not, because AI is so powerful. And it's such a... If you were someone who's lonely and you had nothing else,
people are so lonely now.
Yeah,
and people ask like ChatGPT every day, like any stuff, like how to cook, how to like what decision to make. Yeah, and even like I think people use it as like a psychiatrist. Like a lot of people are just like, oh, I feel this is this because of this, and ChatGPT actually responds to you. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So that's insane.
It is insane.
I know. And apparently there's so many models, like they're always competing. It's like
I mean, that's the argument for why it has to exist, because they're just going to keep getting better. So you have to keep up with the competition.
Yeah, before it was to be just Android and iPhone. Now it's like ChatGPT, like
before it was Siri. Before it was like Siri and Alexa, and that was the only robot we talk to is those.
Yeah. Now it's OpenAI, Gemini. Yeah. Is DeepSeek this Chinese one?
I don't know. See, DeepSeek, I don't know how much of it is exaggeration, because they're trying to say it's the greatest of all time, and we're running it on like so much less technology, and that's. I mean, it sounds hard to believe.
It's not the greatest. It's the same as ChatGPT.
Oh, maybe it's just the efficiency then.
Efficiency, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not better, but they're running it on less. It's going to take less horsepower, essentially. You wouldn't have to take as much power, as much resources to run it.
Elon Musk has his own too.
Yeah, Elon Musk, and then Grok with his whole AI, and he was part of OpenAI, which is the other crazy thing. And he is right. The OpenAI should not be called OpenAI, because it's not. It's closed AI. I mean, like, that's the whole thing was, we're going to keep AI open to the people, and we're going to open source it, because this is going to be something that everybody should have access to. And then they didn't do that, which is crazy, because now it's the most powerful thing. And like, you have to imagine that governments have access to open AI in a way that
and all
we
your
don't.
Data,
and all the data, and all this stuff that you just said. When you share your emotions, when you share your recipes, when you share anything.
And imagine like if you are a company worker, like you're, I don't know, the analyst, and you are just like sending the Excel sheets of your like workers.
Yeah, like analyze this. Yeah, hey, ChatGPT, please analyze this.
Yeah, that would be insane. Like,
they have all of it. I mean, they probably already could have got it if they wanted it, but it's just crazy, like the amount of stuff that, and it's such a shame that is so closely aligned with those power sources and the government, because it shouldn't be that. It should be open to everybody. That's what the AI should be. That's the best possible scenario, because dude, it's just gonna get out of hand so fast, especially when AI gets more powerful. I can only imagine with AI video now, if you've seen this.
On Instagram, like it's just like the grandma is like flying around the city.
Oh my God. AI video as we speak, because this podcast comes out probably a month from now, so it's probably better as this podcast comes out than when we're talking right here.
Yeah.
As we speak, it's Google VO. That's the new one, and it's the first AI video where it's audio, so you can type in, please make a movie scene that looks like this. The characters are going to say this.
Sound like Tom Cruise, yeah.
And then it actually works and it sounds right. And that's, I think, like, you know, now you'll hear people say, like, before people were already saying this, but now they're saying, like, oh, it's the end of Hollywood, it's the end of movies. But it kind of, you're getting close. Because if you can if you have that, but better, and then better, and then better.
And imagine you can just pay for the subscription and have this actor being in your movie.
Just make the whole movie.
Yeah, they can make a movie with all possible actors.
It's crazy. It's crazy because it's probably so close. Because AI video was so bad a year or two ago. It wasn't anywhere near what it is now. Now you can have, it looks like I've seen videos that are pretty convincing at this point. I've seen some crazy videos on Instagram because it knows me. It knows I see these things, and so it keeps showing them to me. Just AI generated, like the Google VO thing. Because anybody can do this. It's just you have to have the subscription, and I think it costs $100 a month. It's a little expensive.
Yeah.
I think for students you get a free trial or something.
Okay.
But it's prompted, so that's. Yeah, you might have a free trial on your hands.
Maybe.
Actually, you might have it. I think you just have to go to the link. I'll send you the video I saw where it's the student thing.
Yeah, I'll find out. Yeah, definitely. It's Gemini, probably. Yeah.
Well, it's Geo. It's Google, or it's Google VO. That's what it's called.
Yeah, I heard about this. I think it's a part of Gemini.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes, you are right. Yeah, because that's their chat.
Yeah.
That's their chat one. And then there's Gemini, Grok, ChatGPT, DeepSeek. There's more though.
The one that Microsoft has, Copilot.
Copilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another one, but even those five.
I think there is also
Claude. That's the one I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
That's six, just random. And then we're at the point now where Instagram just gives you random like brain rot bots to talk to. If you've ever scrolled through Instagram and you've seen John Pork or like these random people.
Yeah, I saw. Even like
what is going
characters.
on? Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, and even like Instagram has like AI bot, like when you search for people.
Snapchat had that a long time ago. Oh. Snapchat started doing that. I feel like 2 years ago. It's right around when ChatGPT became a thing. I don't know. It's all a blur in my mind now. But right around that, because I always thought that was weird. Like now you can talk to AI on Snapchat?
Yeah.
Just talk to AI on... Why? Why would you want to talk to on Snapchat? But it's just there. And it was automatically added to everybody. So it's there automatically.
Yeah.
You can't ignore it. It's just right there on your thing. It's a weird future. I think... What I always try to think about is we're probably actually in a sweet spot right now. It's actually probably pretty nice right now. We're right before everything has gotten really crazy. Everything's pretty nice. It might seem crazy right now, but you just wait.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
It's
like
gonna be crazier.
Yeah. Like I would feel weird having a baby right now. If I had a baby right now, I'd be like...
I mean, it will be worse when you will have a baby. Like
if you had 10 years in the future.
Yeah, that will be even worse.
Probably better to start now. Yeah. Ladies?
Yeah, let's save the future.
The future.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with your like whole thing with coming to America and doing comedy here, like just that whole transition does interest me. Like how... Was it a weird transition to try to adapt your comedy? Was there any roadblocks, anything where it was like, oh, this is not what I expected, you know?
I mean, you know Eliza Bant, right? You had a podcast with her. Yeah. Basically, she was a professor of mine at Northwestern, and she had like a stand-up masterclass. So, we just had a couple of classes like every week for a couple of months. So basically, you were writing a material, and then the same day you go on stage and like try it out. So that was my first barrier, like first open mic, I would say. After that, I started going to like Red Room, Then more, I went to other mics. I think it was pretty smooth, but I feel like in Chicago you need to have like a lot of connections, you know, in order to like get book, get some good spots.
Yeah, I
even
think
like
you're right.
guest spots, even not even the actual spots.
Well, I don't know if it's connections so much as it is
You
reaching out. Like, I think you have to be really proactive in the way that you reach out to people who book shows.
Yeah, but
I think that's. Go ahead.
But for me, it was hard because I was like a foreigner. I didn't know anyone, so I had to start from mics, and people at mics usually don't know the people that are booking the shows, like most of them.
Right.
So like you're always with like people that you're starting with them basically, and somehow you need to like, oh, there is one guy who's booking this show. He's on this mic, and you don't even know that he's a producer of the show. And there are so many shows in Chicago.
Well, I had that observation when I was starting to do podcasts here. Because really how it started is I just went to open mics and just invited everybody.
Wow.
Because I couldn't tell the difference. I had never even really been to an open mic before that. So I just went to... Because I was looking for a music open mic, but there's not very many of those. So I went to a comedy, like an all arts open mic, where it's mostly comics, but then it was me. And I just... Over time, I observed it's kind of hard to distinguish, like to figure out who's a comedian that gets booked, that has popularity and a fan base, and who's somebody who's not like that. Because at a open mic, it's just that's what I'm saying.
New jokes.
It's just a bunch of people who's there could be a great comic who's just bad at an open mic.
Yeah.
You can't even tell off of their performance. You can't even go off of that. If they bomb and they're a great comic, that's actually probably what's supposed to happen a lot of the time. They're bombing on purpose. The open mic's the place to do it.
And you know, it's so weird for me to like come and like text people that I don't know. Like they didn't see you doing live shows. And like, of course you can send the tape, but it's not the thing. Like, I'm just a bit shy to do that. Like,
I mean, you got to do it.
I was shy.
Yeah, you got to do it.
I'm doing that more often. Yeah, but I still
the thing is they expect you to do it. That's because that's what that's what I've heard, and that's what people have told me. Like they just want you to send them a good clip where it's a good like 3 minutes, 5 minutes of you on stage to prove that you can be on stage. And one thing you'll see with comics that get booked often is they'll have these videos on their YouTube channel, so they can send them the YouTube link. And it'll just be like a 5-minute set of them on a good stage. Like if you happen to be at Zany's, that's where that's where you'll get this clip. Or if you go to an open mic at Laugh Factory, you could probably get a good clip out of that. Mm-hmm. If you go to Red Room, you're right on the stage. Red Room's right behind you. You can always get a good clip there. So it's like places like that where if you just got a lot of laughs, you show you have like a good, you have a good energy. I think that's all they really want to see. And then also send them a nice message. Just say, hey, my name is so-and-so. I heard you booked this show. I don't know how you would phrase it. Shout out ChatGPT. It could help you out here.
I know. I never used ChatGPT to message comedians, actually. Maybe that's useful. I don't know.
I've thought about it for like emailing, like for like sponsorship deals, just to punch up what I'm trying to say. Like I'll type out the message myself, and then I'll say, "Hey, how could this sound more professional?" I'll do stuff like that. I
usually like check the grammar mistakes, please.
Those are useful things. That's actually really helpful because like it's those types of things. It's like that's where you want to make the impression. If you're reaching out to a producer, you just want to make a good impression. You want to say, "Hey, my name is so and so." Maybe if you saw them once at a mic, that's always good. That's like, hey, I saw you at this place. That's always a good thing to say.
That's how it works for me. Like, I meet one guy, like open mic or like a show, then I message him after the show. That's the working strategy for me.
You know what you need? Yeah. Oh, I don't think I have them right next to me. I wish I did. Usually they're right in my... Oh, do I see one over there? Dang, I don't. I got my business cards around here somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
Can't believe I don't have them in my pocket. I did, but I think I took them out of my pocket last night when I went and slept next to my pumpkin, my Mr. Oscar doggy. So, but yeah. So I don't know where my business card is, but you need those because those things work wonders. I know it sounds cheesy. It sounds like, oh, you're just going to hand a business card to everybody. And it is kind of cheesy, but people remember the business card, you know? I'm telling. And it gives you a reason to say hello. Because now they saw you on stage, and if you just walk up to them, you say, hey, nice set. By the way, here's this. That makes an impression. They'll remember you, especially if it's a producer. So I feel like it's a nice touch. But just anything like that, any impression you can make. It's all about making them remember you and who you were and your hospitality and your kindness. Just the fact that you came up to them and talked to them, or the fact that they probably just appreciate you messaging them, because a lot of the time they have to find comedians. Like with this show, this podcast, I'm glad you reached out to me to come on, because it's less work I have to do trying to find people.
Like I remember you messaged me like that we should do podcast, and I'm like, probably he forgot, and I'm like, I should message him. Yeah. I know that I will leave soon, so yeah.
And you're going back home. That's exciting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you feel like you're saying goodbye to Chicago in a way?
I want to come back. I don't know. Now I'm in love with this city. Like during the winter, it was a bit weird for me because of the weather. It was a bit depressing. But now the weather is amazing. I just like...
And you got to leave right when the weather gets good.
Yeah.
Oh, you poor guy. I didn't even think about that.
I was waiting for this weather for like whole 6 months. And even the May was a bit chilly, you know?
Yeah, it's like half a year for it to get warm. It literally... As we record this, it is the beginning of June, and it is finally 80 degrees consistently outside. Before today, it was sitting around like 50, 60.
Wearing shirts.
Yeah. That's so funny. I feel bad for you. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I mean,
what they say about Chicago is that it's like the best city in the country for 4 months out of the year. I think that's what they say. Because it's these 4 months, and then it's going to get cold again. And then it's okay. That's what people say about Chicago. I'm not even making that up.
But I think for like comedians, it's not too.
They don't like summer. Yeah, comedians don't like summer.
Yeah,
because I guess there's less shows. People don't want to go out as much.
Yeah, people just sit outside. Yeah,
I never thought about that
barbecue.
until Marcos Sereno told me that. I was like, oh, okay, because he was telling me he was taking a hiatus. He does this show called Wow, You're Actually Funny, and. If you weren't leaving in a week, I'd suggest you to him. I'd say, hey, this guy. Wow. But yeah, if you come back, let me know. Marco's is a great guy. While You're Actually Funny is a show, and he's telling me about taking a summer hiatus.
In, like Lincoln Lodge?
It's at Surge Billiards. There's a lot of shows happening there now. Lincoln Lodge is a good place too. I mean, honestly, it's really just figuring out who books the shows and then messaging them. Like because a lot of these shows have Instagram pages now, so you just have to find like the Instagram page for the show and whoever's like it's if you can, and then figure out who's posting, or even message the show, message the page for the show, because they'll probably respond to you there. Just say, hey, I'd love to be a part of this show.
For me, like the priority was like to be good as a comedian. Like
and open
to have
mics.
good material and then move to like shows.
But the problem with that is your limited time you have.
Yes. But I did all the spots that I want. I did Comedy Bar, Laugh Factory, Fresh Faces.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, Red Room, the Saturday show. Yeah, I did all. Like what else?
You had your victory run, your victory lap.
Roast battles, 3 roast battles. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So it's a shame I didn't get to diss you in one of my raps.
Yeah, you didn't come to the Rosemont Zanies, right?
No, I'm just at the Zanies in Chicago one. I think it's just like I think they think it's. I how should I say? I just don't know if everyone's sure how it would work at other places. Like I think in Rosemont, it's a little bit different. Like in Chicago, it makes perfect sense to do that. And like in the inner city Chicago, because people just kind of get what's happening. In Rosemont, it's a little bit more of like white collar crowd, I guess would be the way to put it. That's my understanding. And then the South Side one is obviously South Side, and they just started doing that. So that's why they're keeping me just at Zanies, because it's just different crowds. You know? I don't know how you felt about the Rosemont crowd. I've never been there. I've never seen how they do it.
Yeah, I never thought that there is a big difference, but actually,
that's how they just the producers described it to me, is that there's a difference, and that makes perfect sense, right? Because Rosemont, just what do you call it? Suburb comics in general, and like the suburban comedy circuit, just all of that. Like there's a whole different thing over by the Vixen, if you know where that's at. That's kind of a whole suburb big spot up there.
Yeah, I didn't know that there is actually like Chicago comedians and also like suburbs, and even like people are coming all the way from Indiana just to show in Chicago.
That's what I learned doing this.
Yeah.
There was people who drove like an hour and a half to my podcast. I'm like, oh my God, you drove how far to get here?
Wow.
And they're like, yeah, I do this every day.
Every day.
Like,
That's
what
insane.
are you talking about?
And
Shout out Stephen Black. He's a friend of mine that does that. Stephen Black.
I opened the document with all mics in Chicago, and sometimes I check the location. It's like, it's in Milwaukee. Wow.
And a lot of comics from Chicago also go out that far.
Yeah.
They'll be going out to Milwaukee and all these places. I just, Rachel Marsh, I saw she was doing this pizza show. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's at a pizza place. Like, you know, and then I looked at where it was, and it was like a 6 or 8 hour drive away.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, she's on tour. I didn't realize what was going on here.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, by all means, that's kind of the goal as a comic. I think you kind of want to be all over the place.
And Midwest is so big, actually. Like, you can go to Indiana, Milwaukee. Like, I don't know. I think there is like Chicago comedians that are actually touring around Midwest.
And again, I think it's the goal. Like, I think what you really want to do is kind of get outside of the city and become known everywhere. Because you could become a famous Chicago comic, but you don't want to be a famous Chicago comic. You want to get outside.
Yeah.
Unless that's your goal, you know. But I feel like Chicago, there's a limit to the amount of growth you could have just here. And that's why you got to explore.
I don't know why, like, Chicago doesn't produce stand-up. Like,
I just think it doesn't have, like, I think that's why I like Roast Battle a lot. I think Roast Battle's a step in the right direction. You know, you need Chicago to have stand-up online that's easily accessible.
Yeah.
That also they make vertical content, and they do all that stuff too, like Reels and YouTube Shorts and all that. Like, you have to do that stuff nowadays. You can't not do it, and you have to promote all this stuff. Like with what Kill Tony is to comedians in Austin. That's a great platform for comedians. It attracts people to the area. Chicago needs more stuff like that, where you can see online. You can easily see from the outside in, oh, there's this whole community. And I think Roast Battle's a step in that direction.
When I was like flying from Kazakhstan to Chicago, I was expecting that they're gonna be like taping, recording, that it's so easy to like go to Netflix, HBO. But apparently everything happens in LA and New York. And like every comedian now moves to Austin or like New York or LA. So I don't know. Chicago is also a big city, and we have like comedy clubs.
I think it's just a different mentality. Like, I think the way that Chicago comedians, I think they don't like, I think there's, because of its placement in like the big city thing, I think they're just not trying as hard to get like world famous. I don't know. Like, I don't think like clips and I don't know. Like, it's a good question.
Should.
Why is it not as big of a deal here? Because
there are a lot of good comedians. That's the thing.
Yeah, and there's so much of it. Yeah, like because you kind of have to do it yourself. Like, it's kind of a DIY thing, like a do-it-yourself. If you're the comic, you have to bring your own camera and you have to make your own clips. You can't really expect these places to do a lot for you.
Yeah, but they have example of Roast Battle, which is good. So
that's a good one.
Why not to try to do the same, but for stand-up?
Because
comedy?
you can only lead by example. It's like, that's why I say it's a step in the right direction. Like, you can't expect, I would never expect everyone to do the right thing. I would never be so crazy as to expect people to actually do the right thing. I'm actually always surprised when people do the right thing. I'm like, wow, that was really nice. Like, you did the good thing. Because I think it's hard to do the right thing a lot of the time. It takes effort. It takes willpower. You have to think long term, and I think that's what like things like that are. Like, I think you have to invest in, that's what I try to do with this. I try to invest in other people and invest in comedians and invest in that, because I know that pays off in ways you could never even imagine. Not even just for me, but for other people. Like, that's what's so important about it, because you start to have this ripple effect, and that's really what's important. And all of a sudden, like, you're affecting all these different people, and your show is influencing people, and you're getting all these different opinions about it, and that's what it's all about. It's not even about like getting popular online. It's about those connections you're making right now, and then those connections will bleed out into that thing online. It'll all snowball and become this bigger thing if you just invest in that and so that's why I think it's so cool too, because it's involving people and putting them in the spotlight, and not so much like, it's all about putting people in the spotlight. You got it. There's not as much of that, you know.
And even like one of your guests will be a popular comedian. He can bring other popular comedians to your podcast.
And that's all you need. And the same thing with these comedy shows, though. Like, why not every single week at the Laugh Factory do a taped set that will be on YouTube? Every week. Do a taped thing that we all know is going to be on YouTube, but you can be there live because people, I guarantee you, people will pay to be there live. It's not going to affect your ticket sales at all. They want to be there because it's going to be on YouTube. It's exciting. Maybe even guarantee a good 5 or 10 minutes of crowd work for them. So that way they're like, oh, I'm going to be on YouTube and they might talk to me. That might be a cool way to involve the audience. Guarantee there's going to be a crowd work section. But like something like that, that's perfect because now you have content weekly that you have clips that you're going to grab out of that. You can also post it weekly. And people will tune in and they'll see the Chicago comedy scene. They'll see full 5-10 minute sets from these comics that it's not like the comics are worried about the set being online. They know it's going to be online because that's how you're going to advertise it. You say it's on YouTube. That would be cool. Like do it like a mini special type thing.
And
you know,
comedians will have a like actual goal. Oh, I will write 10 minutes and I will like submit them to Laugh Factory.
And then I could be on their YouTube special. Yeah, that would be cool. And like more stuff like that. I think there's not enough of that. Yeah, there just needs to be little creative things where you can let comics do their thing. Like Roast Battle's cool because it gives comics a very specific situation to be doing. Like the jokes they do there will only be there.
Yeah.
There's another one called Joke Swap, if you've heard of that. I'm forgetting who does it, but Lucy Ferrante, I think is her name.
Is it also on YouTube or?
No, but that's what I was gonna say. Is it'd be nice if she put it on YouTube because it's the same kind of thing as Roast Battle where it's and this one is at Lincoln Lodge, where it is they're doing. It's 2 comics, and the premise is I'm doing your jokes, and you're doing my jokes, but we both wrote the joke. Like, I wrote your jokes for you, and you wrote... So you're pretending to do... Or no, I'm sorry.
What?
I got it wrong. Yeah. I wrote the jokes that you have to say, and then you wrote the jokes that I have to say. That's Joke Swap. So you're saying jokes that I wrote, and I'm saying jokes that you wrote.
So it's basically the roast battle, but
it's very similar because it kind of turns into you make fun of yourself by reading what they wrote. Yeah. But it's a good premise, and it'd probably be a good thing for, again, putting online because it's like Roast Battle. It's only going to be right there. It's not like you can do those jokes again because that's probably what comics wouldn't want to do is use a lot of their good jokes that they're saving for their special or whatever it is. A lot of comics probably feel like they're saving a good hour or saving a good 30 minutes, 20 minutes.
And this one you just write in one day, like 10 jokes about the other
that's how Roast Battle is, right? Yeah. You can only, you can't spend too much time on a Roast Battle joke.
Like, I just have to focus for like couple of hours and I'm like, okay, I have this 5-7 jokes that I'm going to say. Yeah.
How soon do you plan on coming back to Chicago?
I know. I can actually, I can visit the graduation of Northwest next year.
Okay.
So I'll probably come back. I will try to come back and save up some money, come back in June. Yeah, and I'll try to stay here. Probably I have to apply for like travel visa or like talent visa. I don't know how to get the talent visa, but that would be cool.
What's the difference?
I think talent visa, you can actually work as a comedian, like an artist, like book the places.
You can't do that with a travel visa?
No, even like with a student visa, I can't actually work.
Oh, really?
And even when I
get... Good thing you're not getting booked.
No. The thing is, I'm getting booked, and when I'm getting the paycheck, like I'm trying to say, like, can you give me in cash? And they're like, okay, we're giving you in cash.
Yeah.
But,
oh, wow. So poor guy. Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah.
Man, it's like you're working like dishes at a restaurant, Only pay me in cash.
No.
I'm not supposed to be here.
It's still the same amount of money. So.
No, I mean, like, that's honestly, though, that's interesting to me. I've never heard that before. I wonder why that's even a rule. Why is that? Why can't you work?
There's so many types of visa that U.S. has.
Yeah. I see. But a student, why can't a student work? You'd think like...
You can work on campus,
Still, though. That's weird. Like, I feel like if I was a student from another country, I should be able to work wherever.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, I don't know. Maybe there's some good reason for this that I don't know right now. But that just, to me, that feels like, because like if you were a comic, yeah, it's a bummer you'd have to deal with that. Like just as a comedian even. Like, bro, like if I was like a musician, like, wait, you can't give me a check right now? Like, what? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's why I like even some shows I'm like, can just have a guest spot. Like,
yeah,
I don't even need.
It's okay. Trust me. It's fine.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah, just give me 5 minutes of stage time. That's all I need.
But yeah, that's a good idea to come back with all that in place. Yeah, I mean, and I feel like you have traction here. That you've been starting to get like the ball rolling. And it's kind of a shame that you have to go. Right? That's probably how you feel.
Now I have more connection. Definitely, I think when I'll come back,
you think so?
Easier for me to like, yeah.
What's it like back home, like doing comedy there?
Back home, we don't have a lot of comedians. That's the thing. Like, we have maybe 30, 50 max.
Really?
In my city. And my city is like over 1 million.
What city?
Astana, which is like a capital of Kazakhstan.
Okay.
So yeah, we don't have a lot of comedians. Like,
really? 30 to 50 in the capital?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is I've learned by talking to different comics that have come from different places. One thing, when you come to a city like this from a different place, it's always this weird thing because, especially like what you just described, because you could be one of the 50 comics and you feel like you're doing great. Like, oh my gosh, I'm awesome. And then you come somewhere like here and you're just at the bottom.
It's like you can have like 50 comedians in one mic here. Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing, and then like it just has to throw you off. Even like the European countries, it would be so different if you were over there in like the UK and then you come here.
I don't feel like my jokes will work in other like countries, like if I go to Germany or like the East Europe, because like maybe they didn't watch Borat, because I think like the things that I'm talking about are relatable to Americans. Like most of the Americans watch Borat or like they know this song that I'm telling my jokes. So maybe it will be hard to adjust my jokes to other audience in other countries.
Maybe because I've asked around because I've had a similar question. I've thought like if you're going to other, I think I asked Emma Dallenberg on this show. I just can't remember exactly what her answer was because she told me that's kind of where she got her popularity was when she was trapped in these European states and she was doing comedy there. Wow. Yeah, so she got popular on Instagram like right when something about like her passport or she couldn't get back to America, some legal thing, and so she was stuck there. And so she just went around the country doing stand-up and doing all that, or those countries, I should say. And I asked her about that, about like how different the humor is there and like adapting material. And I think what the general idea is like you don't want to, you can reference American culture because a lot of these countries know a lot about American culture. You just can't be too specific with references. You don't want to be hyper specific and say things that only Americans might know. But you'd be surprised. I think they might know Bo Rat. I think a lot of countries would probably know Bo Rat, actually. But if you were mentioning random songs, I'm not sure.
Even at mics, it's hard for me to understand some jokes because they like... I know like popular places like Chipotle or like any like other like Burger King, but Subway, but when it's like so local, like only Chicago people know this place. So this one is so hard.
Yeah, that's tough. Like you can't really mention Malort anywhere outside of Chicago. What's that? They're like, what are you talking about? Malort, what's another Chicago thing nobody would know what you're talking about if you weren't here? Giordano's.
That's a pizza place.
Yeah. If you mention any like deep dish jokes will work in Chicago. Probably nowhere else will deep dish jokes work. Paint the river green. Do a joke about that. I'm thinking, what only works here?
Do they paint the river only for the St. Patrick's Day? Or any other like...
Just St. Patrick's.
I thought they have any other holidays when it's like purple or like...
I kind of like that they don't.
Red.
I like that they don't because I feel like it's special.
Yeah.
If you only do it green one time a year. Because if they did like red for Christmas and like, you know, what other color could you do? Brown for Thanksgiving. Who knows?
Orange for Halloween.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'd be down with that actually.
Yeah, I want to like experience the Halloween here because we don't celebrate that in my country. Yeah.
So this guy told me right before we started the podcast, I gave him a lint roller. He said, wow, I've never used one of these before. And I was like, dude, no way. And then I lit a candle and he said, wow, I've never smelled a scented candle before. And I was like, dude,
that
no
smells
way.
like pumpkin.
It smells like pumpkin in here. And now he's telling me, say the third one again.
Yeah, the Halloween.
Halloween!
Yeah, I never experienced
Shout
that.
out pumpkins. It all connects.
Yeah.
Pumpkins, Halloween.
Do you actually buy the pumpkin and like make a face?
Yeah, well, I don't hear, but yeah, like because I'm from Flint, Michigan, so it's about like a 5-hour drive from where we're at. Like if you go around, this is Chicago over here, and then Michigan's shaped like a mitten.
Is it also Illinois?
No, so this is Michigan. Like you've seen Michigan on a map, I'm sure.
Okay.
So if you were to go, Illinois is around the bend here, so you just go around that and all the way up, and I'm right here.
Oof.
But yeah, like somewhere in mid-Michigan. Yeah, you're doing the pumpkins, you're doing all that. Kids are going to be walking around in Halloween outfits.
Is it the same
costumes.
in all states? Like or the like
I think so.
differences? Oh.
I think it's the same. I don't think it's ever... Margot, I don't think it's ever really changed. Because I think Halloween... I don't even think it's like really... It's kind of like Christmas. It's not really about what it's about. Like, it's not really about Santa. It's not really about all of that. It's about getting presents. It's about the ritual of celebration. Just like how Halloween, it's not really about what even is Halloween about? Like if you look into the history of it, it's all like this weird. But it's because I forget. I've looked it up before. I remember someone was trying to tell me before like Halloween's Satan and all this, and I was like, maybe that makes sense, probably. But
like I know these all celebrations from like serious movies or even like games. Like you can have like, oh, today is the Halloween, and you have like special character just for this day. Like,
I think it's just like a I think people. It's built into humans to celebrate. We want to celebrate things, and I think these are our American weird things we do. We don't realize how weird it is.
What's your
until
favorite?
Someone like you tells me, because then I know I'm thinking about it. Halloween would look really odd if you're a country who doesn't celebrate it. So you guys just dress up once a year. Yes, we all dress up.
What's your favorite celebration?
I'm excited to be a cop. That's why I got the mustache to be a cop for a costume. What was my favorite superhero? What was the question?
No. What's your favorite celebration like from all?
Oh, that's a great question. My favorite celebration, like my favorite holiday,
holiday celebration.
Celebration, I would say birthday. I feel like birthdays just feel special. I feel like because that wouldn't count. I don't think it counts as a holiday, but I think as a celebration, birthdays are awesome. I haven't been to enough weddings.
Because it's only
maybe I would say weddings if I've been to more weddings.
Yeah,
it's probably a fun celebration to go to.
Maybe I think birthdays. It's because it's unique. Like it's only for you. Like
birthdays feel special.
Yeah,
birthdays because it's like in my mind I'm thinking, oh, it's just a day, but I'm also thinking like, damn, I've been around the sun 27 times. That's actually true.
Wow.
I went around the sun 27 times.
Yeah,
and that's really, really true. It's crazy how that works. Time flies.
Are you getting sad when it's your birthday? Like you're good.
I think the older you get, the more that happens.
Yeah.
It's fun to have, it's fun to have birthdays when you're 10. When you're 11, you're 12, you're 13, you're 14, you're 15. Even when you're 20 years old, it's like, But I think once you hit 30, once you hit 35, I'm kind of scared moving forward.
Yeah,
27's a good spot to be.
Even like in Russian movies, they were saying, and cartoons, that they were saying that birthday is like a sad celebration. And I was like shocked when I was hearing that in cartoons, but now I'm getting the...
Because you think it's positive?
Yeah, I thought it's positive, but now it's getting more sad. But I still like it. Yeah.
I would say that it's like a mixture of both. Everything is that, right? It's
I know
melancholy.
now you have more responsibilities and more goals. Yeah.
And there's good and bad in that. Like that's not good or bad inherently. It's both. It's both of those things. It's not bad to have responsibilities, just like it's not necessarily good. It's both. Yeah. You have to... I think taking on responsibility and taking agency is like the ultimate lesson of life. As you get older, you realize that more and more. Like I have to take over and do things for myself, or else nothing's gonna happen. And that's kind of adulthood. That's maturity. I think what's sad is that a lot of kids have to do that at a young age when they're still trying to figure out. I think when you're a kid, you're supposed to play and you're not supposed to work. But a lot of kids don't get to do that, and that's what messes a lot of people up. And I think it's a balance of both. You have to be in it. Someone once said to me, "Be childlike, not childish." Does that make sense to you with your understanding of English? I'm not sure if that would communicate.
I did the second part, but what do you mean? Like childlike, like be playful? Like
yes, exactly, and not childish. Childish meaning like bashful, meaning short-sighted, like not thinking ahead of the future, because that's how kids are. They don't understand like things cost money, and they break things, and they are mean to each other, and they do things that are you can't blame them because they're a kid and they're still trying to figure things out. But be childlike, meaning have wonder, meaning have creativity, meaning have exploration, because that stuff is all childlike. It's playful. It's allowing yourself to play. I think comedy keeps it in touch with that. It's a playful thing. I think that's why comedy's so powerful.
And sometimes I feel like comedians are just too serious, even like in the real life on stage. And you don't need to forget that you're doing jokes. Like you're
doing the most ridiculous thing.
Like I think that's such a funny job, like such a cool job. Like
you're so lucky to be able to do it. Even to just have the opportunity to do it at all.
And when like people laugh at your joke, it's what a pleasure. Like that's I think that the biggest dopamine boost that I ever had in my life. I think when I first heard the laugh when I was at school, I'm like, wow, that's so powerful.
I mean,
and you're getting the addiction. That's why I want to go on stage again and again, just to hear the laugh. Sometimes I feel like. Maybe for you as a rapper, that's like...
No, it's just, I feel like that's, it's just interesting. Because I'm sure that's most comedians. I'm sure there's a certain high that you get that you can't get from anything else. Especially from a good crowd on a good night. I mean, because it's such an interactive thing. I mean, the thing that's the same between comedy and music... always, in my mind, or performance in general, is if you do what you do well enough, it's so based on your own performance. It's so based on you and what you're putting into it that it becomes like this like spiritual exchange. You're hypnotizing an audience, and you're like putting your soul into it, and you're communicating something beyond the art form. And that's like a true performance. And I think when comedy's killing, when you're doing great and every joke is hitting, the audience enters this weird like trance where they're kind of just gonna laugh at anything you say now because everybody's sold, and it's this weird space you enter. I think it's really interesting how you can do that, and I think that's what happens when you're getting those laughs. You ride that, you
sometimes I feel like I need to stop listening to music because sometimes I hear the news that it's hurting your ears, like when you're always on headphones or like when you're always watching something, but it's also like hypnotizing you. Like I can't just stop like watching good special, or I can just like stop listening again and again the good song. Yeah,
it is. Well, and I think in person it's so much more powerful too. Like that's why I think it's a shame. I feel like a lot of people feel like they've seen comedy, but they've only seen it on their phone or on YouTube. They've never actually been to a comedy show. It's so much different. Like maybe I think like most people, maybe people who live in cities, not so much because they have the opportunity. But if you don't live in a city, you only see these comedians on podcasts and their specials. You never go out to the city and see a comedy show. And it's such a nice, that's where you really feel the magic,
That's why I went to like Jim Jeffries, which I watch only like on YouTube or like on other websites, and seeing him live, it was so good. Like
my face usually hurts when I leave a comedy show. Like I'll smile so much that my face hurts when I leave. I'm like,
that's a good thing. Yeah.
It is a good thing because they get me. If it's a comedian I really like, it's actually kind of painful.
Wow.
They're doing a good 40 minutes. All right, I'm dying over here. Was Jim Jeffries? You had a great time.
Yeah, it was so good.
Was better than you expected.
I mean, and that was like live taping of his Netflix special. So yeah.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
That's
probably
cool.
like next year is gonna come out.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
dude. Here in Chicago?
Here in Chicago, yeah. It was so random. I just bought the ticket, and apparently he decided to record this special this day in Chicago.
That's awesome. Mark Norman recently did his special here too. I think that was the middle of last year. I think so. Chicago's probably a good place for a comedy special. I feel like, because that's the other thing that's such a shame that they don't film more stuff here. I think we have great crowds. There's great crowds in Chicago. Like if you could capture that, more comics would probably want to come here even. Just show off how great the crowds can be. And like if people are having a great time, to comedians that are from other cities, they're like, oh, this looks like a good show for me to be a part of.
And apparently, like a lot of famous comedians are from Chicago. Like I heard John Mulaney is from Chicago.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I watched his special that day, and he was saying like, "Oh, I'm from Chicago," and like it was like taped in Chicago theater, I think.
Oh, I had no idea.
So I'm like, maybe he performed in some of the places that I've been in. Maybe he went to Lincoln Lodge. Who knows? Wow.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I mean, it's crazy to think about that in general. It's just, the amount of history that's in places. Whenever you're at a place, like, just think of all the people that have been here before, especially these bigger venues, like Zanies, like Lincoln Lodge. Like, I mean, what's the other big one? Vixen's probably a good one now. I'm trying to think of, there's, I should know more, because...
Dean Theater.
What is that?
Dean Theater. The Dean...
Where's that at?
Or Den Theater.
Oh, Den Theater.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And that one's where at? Where is that one at? Den Theater. Den Theater is like another big one. Yes, Den Theater is another big one. The Improv one. The Annoyance, I think. I don't know if bigger. Yeah, The Annoyance. A lot of people have come through The Annoyance. Heard Bob Odenkirk was there like 10 years ago.
Second City.
Second City, that's the other one I was trying to think of. Yeah. Second City, but all these places, like so much history. Second City especially, oh my God, the amount of people that went to SNL from Second City. I mean, SNL, how familiar are you with that?
It's the show, like Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not stand-up, like, it's like actual show. Like, they have the host, then it's like sketches, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe
but it was probably one of the biggest sketch comedy shows for a long time in America.
Is
like,
it still live?
Yeah, it is. But I wouldn't say it's the same as it used to be. I mean, in like the 90s especially, I'd say the 90s is really when it was in its prime. There's so many big comics that came out of it. Adam Sandler was a part of that.
Wow.
Chris Farley was a big part of that. You might not have heard of him, but he passed away right around that time, and he was going to have a crazy career. Norm Macdonald was from SNL back then. He used to do News Update, I think is what it was. SNL cast 90s. Let's see, because there's so many. So basically, it's, Kevin Nealon, Chris Farley, Will Ferrell. Forgot about him. Wow. David Spade, Mike Myers. That's Austin Powers. Dana Carvey, Chris Rock.
Wow, what was the format of the show? It's like basically 5-6 sketches per show. Or?
Yeah, and it was live. So that was the whole thing. It's live, and they always had celebrity guest hosts. So it's always a different host. And even for comedians now, I think it's still kind of a big deal to get like a monologue on SNL and to get on SNL. Shane Gillis, are you familiar with him at all?
Yeah.
His popularity is kind of tied up with SNL in a way because he was going to be on SNL and like they were going to add him to the cast. And then he had already done a podcast with his friend for a long time before this called Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast, which was pretty popular. And so right when he had got cast on SNL, some hit piece comes out on him online about he had this racist thing he said about Chinese people, I think is what it was. And it was just some like thing where he's just saying something on his podcast. Like he's just making a joke. But And it was, I think afterwards he's even said like, he was surprised that's what it was because he said things far worse on his podcast. That's probably for the best that it happened, right? Wow. Because they were going to get him no matter what. It was just, that's how it happened. And so it played out for his favor because this actually kind of turned into oh, everybody looks at Shane Gillis and why was he taken off of SNL, and nobody really disliked him, and he's super popular. He was kind of popular before that, and then he just kind of took off. His career took off because the whole thing with that. He would have been, and now he just came back to SNL as a comedian. He's hosted, I think, twice now. But he comes on the show, and it's just kind of funny because he was rejected from the show, and now he's back on the show. Norm Macdonald was fired infamously in like the late 90s. They fired him from
And it's filmed
SNL.
in New York?
Yeah, and it's filmed in New York. And Norm Macdonald came back around 2010. Elon Musk hosted SNL a couple of years ago, and that was a big deal. It's a pretty, I would say it still has cultural relevance in America.
Is it like
it's kind of the same cultural relevance as late night shows, where it's not quite the same as it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
It's like every week.
Yeah, it's every week, and you can expect it to be on, but I don't think it has the same viewership, the same popularity as it used to. Like, you still have the rabid fans, and you still have comedians who will tell you, I want to be on SNL. Like, that's my ultimate goal.
Wow,
You'll still hear that.
actually.
But I just don't think it's the same thing it used to be.
I don't know what's the path of the comedian here.
It's so different. Well, I've talked about that so many times because just the path of a comedian in general, it's so interesting because it's not really like any other art form, right? There's no real path. Like, if you were talking worldwide fame, if we're talking like you want to be top of the game, I want to be the best comedian of all time. That's what I want. How do you achieve that? Or at least how do I make a living off comedy? Even just that. And the answer, I think, is like, you have to find a way to get support online. I think that's why a lot of comedians do podcasts now, because podcasts, you can get support through things like Patreon. You can offer things to your fans. That's so many comedians do podcasts. And also, it bolsters their ticket sales, because if I'm doing a podcast, now you're familiar with me, and now you're more likely to come out to a show when I come out to your city. So I think a lot of it is just developing a fan base yourself, and then selling them merchandise like T-shirts, stuff like that. And then also finding a way to give them a way to support you, like give them a way to monetarily, like give you money, and that way everything works out. Because other than that, I have no idea. Like, I think most comedians don't get paid that much. I think most comedians, even the ones that are getting booked consistently, they're getting paid like $20. I don't think they're making much money.
And I think there are not a lot of comedians in Chicago that are just living from
No way. Like, you'd have to have such a big following.
Yeah.
You'd have to have probably hundreds of thousands of followers to be able to make a living off of comedy. That would be my guess.
Yeah, you have to like have specials every day probably in Chicago.
I mean,
Like,
I think it's just having I don't know. In Chicago, that's why I was saying before about like traveling, because I don't even know what if you're talking just Chicago, I have no idea what the path would be. I think it would just be online. You'd have to get popular online, because you could get booked if you're trying to just make money off of shows. Yeah, you'd have to get booked every day. If that's what you're saying, you'd have to get booked every day, which is kind of impossible. Even 20 days out of 30 days a month. Let's say you're trying to make $2,000 a month. You'd have to get paid 2,000 divided by 20, that's 100. You'd have to get paid $100 every show, and you'd have to have 20 shows, and that's the only way you could make 2,000. I still think that's kind of impossible.
yeah.
So yeah, comedy is it's like rap though. That's how music is. It's kind of an impossible thing. Like, you just have to accept, I'm not going to make money for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be in it for the love of it, and I'm going to, again, it's kind of what I said before about developing connections, and I think that's really more what you're doing. You don't even realize you're doing it. Like, all those people you meet, at open mics, all those random little moments that happen, they end up meaning more later. Because you don't realize. You don't realize, like, who is who and what is what. Like, when you're at an open mic, I don't know who is important and who's not. I don't know who's this random dude who showed up for the first time. It's his first mic. Can't figure it out. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, when I came here, I was like, it's impossible to do something big in like 6 months. So I'll just like be good at comedy. I will get good, and I'll just have more connections with people.
And you think you did that?
Yeah, I think I did that. Yeah, I think now this podcast like sum up everything that I was doing in Chicago comedy. Yeah.
If you were to sum it up, what would you say? If you were to try to summarize your experience in the Chicago comedy community, how would you summarize it?
I start doing jokes in English, like that are actually might work, that are working like on actual Americans. I met so many cool people, and yeah, I'm so grateful. For this time. Yeah, I think when I will come back to Kazakhstan, I will miss Chicago a lot. Yeah. I will have maybe like a FOMO that I'm missing out the shows. That I'm not doing like a lot of mics. Like here, you can do like 2-3 mics per day. Like
it's a lot different there because
we're doing like 1 mic per day, and it's like 2-3 mics maximum. Yeah, per week.
And it's the same people because there's only so many comedians there.
No, comedians, yeah, they're mostly the same comedians, but audience usually are different. And sometimes to the mics, like actual audience usually are coming to the shows, to the mics. So
to the open mics. Where here in Chicago, it's more like you're getting comedians.
Yeah.
And that would actually be helpful to have audiences at open mics. Yeah, that would help.
I feel like they're more... I don't know if it's the case. Maybe it's too much comedians. I don't know.
Comedians at open mics are generally more competitive. They're more like they want. They're looking at your jokes and they're trying to think how could that be funnier and how, they're not like an audience. And a regular audience is not going to do that stuff.
And I feel like a lot of people in Chicago when they're doing mics, they don't think that they're comedians. They're just going on stage thinking that they just have a funny story.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
But yeah, so
they'll literally talk about what they did earlier
today or yesterday.
Yeah. And they're not. It's not a joke. There's no joke. They're just telling you what happened.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like it takes so much time. Like you have to like actually wait for your spot while the other person is telling how was his day. Yeah, but.
To each their own. Yeah, it is what it is.
I like Chicago. Yeah.
It's an interesting energy. It's different. Yeah, and I think that I think the humor here is.
I like how like Chicago comics are actually supportive. Like
yes,
initially I was thinking, oh, maybe it's too competitive and everyone just thinks of their own things, like mind their own business. Because before I came here, I was told that Americans are like dualistic, like they don't have like teams. But now I feel like they're actually a group of comedians. Like I know, he usually go out with these guys to the mics.
Yeah,
they're like different friend groups, I would say.
Well, and how I think about it is, it's interesting because have you ever heard of the 7 degrees of separation?
No.
So it's a law of the universe. It's a way to think about things where you're 7 degrees separated from any person that exists right now. So any person you can think of, there's 7 people in between you and them.
Even less.
Often less. Exactly. That's the idea. Is 7 is kind of pushing it. We're all 52nd cousins, I think, is if you were to go through the lineage of humankind, we're at least 52nd cousins. It's the only thing that makes biological sense.
Wow.
52nd, which is not, it's a lot less than you'd think. You'd think would be like 158th cousins. 52nd is not that far down the line.
Yeah.
At one point, we were all second cousins. But yeah, so it's interesting that what was the point I was about to make? I'm losing it.
Yeah, so probably I think I know most of the celebrities now.
Oh yeah, the 6 degrees of separation, because there's the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or 7 degrees of separation, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, which is like a funny game you can do with actors, where any actor you can pick a bunch of different movies and you'll get to Kevin Bacon. You can do it with any actor though.
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage,
Tom
Leonardo
Cruise.
DiCaprio, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. Shout out to Burj Khalifa. But yeah, so it's just an interesting thing, and the Chicago comedy community is so tight knit and it's so close together, like you just described. It's actually probably more like 2 degrees of separation.
Yes.
Every single comedian in the community is probably 2 people separated from you.
Yeah.
And it's I think of it like a spider web. How I picture it in my brain is like this spider web of people, and every time you connect with one person, you're actually just connecting with...
opening more.
Yeah, you're opening more pathways you don't even realize. Yeah. And it's just interesting. It's very interesting how that happens. And that's, again, that random thing you don't realize is happening. And then later on, you realize, like, oh, now I'm part of this friend group, and I didn't even notice that I was entering that friend group. I just met these guys at an open mic once, and now I know all 5 of them.
And I wish I had more time to hang out with, like, you guys, because I have to actually do assignments before the mics or, like, after, so I don't usually hang out. Like, I usually come, like, late for the mics. Like, I'm always, like, 20-ish on the list, or, like, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're in the middle of school, and you're not going to be in school when you come back, though.
Yeah.
So that'll be it.
That's gonna be fun.
Because I think like a lot of it too, because like with getting booked and with getting, it's reaching out, but it's also just being there and being present. Like that's probably another thing. If you weren't able to hang out a lot and you weren't able to, because a lot of times that's half of it. It's just hanging out, and now they realize like, oh, he's one of us.
Yeah.
That's really half of it, because that the people who book shows end up being these random comedians at open mics half the time. It's people that are also comedians that book the shows. So it will be people you meet at open mics and make friends with and hang out with. And that's why, and you'll see comics complain or comedians complain that, oh, they only book their friends on shows. But like, wouldn't you book a lot of people you know? Wouldn't you book a lot of people you know are funny? That are your friends, you're close, you've seen them be funny.
Yeah, you've seen, like, that's the guarantee that they're gonna be funny. You have the, you know that this person is gonna be funny. Yeah. Yeah.
One time a producer told me that what they're looking for is somebody who can be funny in different places. Somebody who can take that and be funny here and be funny here and be funny here. And that's a great point, you know, because of course you can be funny in one clip, but can you be fun? I think it was, I want to say it was Ron Bloom, but maybe it was somebody else. Yeah. But it was just
on
like
your podcast?
Yeah, on this podcast. Yeah, maybe it was somebody else though. But they were telling me that they like to see people in person when they book them. I want to say it was Tim Brennan. Now that I think about it, I think it was Tim Brennan. But yeah, just that he likes to see people in person and feel that and see them rather than see a clip or anything like that. And it actually makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Like he likes to book through open mics for that reason. He wants to see you and see what you're like and see what you act like. Because that is a whole different thing. Then anybody can get a good 5-minute clip. Believe it or not, anybody can. It just takes enough time. I could be funny for 5 minutes, but can I be funny for 5 minutes, 10 nights in a row? That I don't know. So I feel like that's another thing. Yeah, you do. And that's why producers like to meet people. That's why they like to know people. It's just good to get to meet people and be a part of the community anyway. It's cool to know people and to feel like you're a part of it, you know? It really feels better when you know, like, do you feel like you've at least met a lot of comics and you at least like name to name basis? You guys know each other?
Yes. Definitely.
I have to imagine you've met a lot in 6 months.
And I feel like now, I think there is even like hierarchy of people in Chicago. Like first you meet open mics, then you meet like people that are producing some shows. Then you meet like stars of Chicago that have like 1,000 followers on Instagram. You're like, wow, there is a ladder actually.
What you're describing to me is so funny because I'm at a weird spot with this podcast now where I've realized like, oh, if there's this ladder, like the ladder you just described, I need to book strategically. I need to get people on the right spokes of the ladder in order to move up the ladder. And I'm at a certain point on the ladder right now.
I feel like you're at the sweet spot. Like you know so many people now. Probably you know even like more people that I know for sure. So,
which is weird because I didn't even realize I was doing that until like a month or two ago. I was like, wait a minute. I am at the sweet spot. It was hitting me. And now I had this revelation. And I'm also at a spot where more and more people like reach out to me and want to be on the show. And it's just weird because when you think about that and like the spokes of a ladder, what you're describing to me is like it's blowing my mind because it's the same exact experience I've had in the last 6 months. I've kind of been experiencing the Chicago comedy scene. And when did you get here?
In January. Yeah, and I started doing like comedy here maybe like early February. Yeah, like 2nd February. Yeah, when
Interesting.
It started. Yeah.
Because I started meeting comics around October, so November, December, January.
Wow.
So I had about 3 to 4 months on you, 3 to 4 months ahead of you. But like my experience was kind of just I was like disoriented, like a little confused because. Again, I go to an open mic, I just invite everybody on. Everybody's just everybody to me. I'm not even thinking about any of these things. And then, like you just described, you start to realize over time there's a hierarchy of people. It's not just everybody is anybody. There's people, there's kind of this idea where if you're somebody who can headline at somewhere like Laugh Factory, somewhere like Zany, somewhere like The Den, all those places we described before, if you can get booked there and headline, you're like, oh, you're getting somewhere, and that's different than if you're just there's this whole idea of open mic comics and regular like comics. Like some comedians consider themselves. Some people say that as an insult. Some comedians say open mic comic as an insult. Like
no, I like to be open mic comedian. Like, I feel like you need to you need to have self-awareness of your like spot. Like I can't say that I'm the headliner now. Like I want to be a good open micer. I want to be a good opener. Like that's what I want. Like I don't want to cut the corners. I want to like actually
pave your way there.
Pave my way. Yeah. And I feel like that's how even Joe Rogan started. Like the first guests were not that popular. Then he's getting the recognition, and now like more people. Even like the well-known one want to be in his podcast. So,
I mean, his show, again, it's a good template to look at for how, because people don't realize how long it took for him to get where he's at. The first big guests he had that weren't comedian friends, that were his friends, was Graham Hancock, and it was, who's the other one? Anthony Bourdain. So Anthony Bourdain, he had like a cooking show that he would do, and it was just he would travel the world and just eat food, and that was his whole thing. He's also a cool guy. And then the second one, Graham Hancock, he has books about alternate like history theory, where he thinks there was this other society that existed that built the pyramids, and these guys existed before Egypt, but there was a major apocalypse that occurred. And it was the Younger Dryas impact or something like that wiped out this civilization, and there's evidence of this past civilization. And then Göbekli Tepe is a big part of that. If you've ever heard of Göbekli Tepe, it's the most ancient archaeological site we've ever found, and it kind of breaks our idea of how history would work, because there's certain animals on the cave paintings that couldn't be there unless they had knowledge from other places. Like, it doesn't make sense. And also, even the fact they could do the cave paintings like that, we don't know anybody from that part of history that could have done that. But there's probably so much lost history. It's just crazy to think about. And so that's a fun topic to explore, and that was one of the first people that Joe Rogan ever had on other than a comedian. And again, thinking about this show and trying to put it in that framework, I'm at that weird spot where I feel like I've had a bunch of comedians on. Now I need to have those random people where it's like, whoa, who's this person? Like a Graham Hancock or like a Jeffrey. I was going to say Jeffrey Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain. I'm trying to think of some like random celebrity I could get on my show. I honestly, I messaged Carlos Mencia. We mentioned him earlier. I have reached out to Carlos Mencia. That has happened. Any comic that's at Zany's now, I always try to reach out to them. But really, I probably do need to talk to people that aren't comedians. I need to find more people like that, random people. Because podcasts are so much bigger than comedy now.
Of course, I think in Chicago, there are a lot of like interesting people, obviously.
Of all fields,
You can just like ask Eliza Bent. Maybe she can give you some professors that are really interesting. I don't know.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know. I know only Eliza, but maybe you know some. I heard that there are some professors that are doing stand-up comedy. So like not. So yeah.
I've had a lawyer on here once.
Oh. Okay.
Or not a lawyer. I'm sorry, a real estate guy. He a real estate agent. I want to get this right. I think he owns a property. I'm gonna get it wrong. I think it was a real estate agent. Yeah. But he was great. Tony Angelos. Shout out to Tony Angelos. Fun guy. But just stuff like that where it's like different people from different fields, because really podcasts and all this comedy, I think there's a reason comedians do podcasts, because podcasts are an open form thing. In my idea of what a podcast should be, you can make it a show, you can turn it into whatever you want to turn it into, but like what Joe Rogan does, again, being a template for what a podcast can be, it's not trying to be anything. It's just two people exploring and having a good time, and then through that you get somewhere. I think that's what comedy is. I think that's what art is. I think there's something really, really interesting about what you can do with stuff like that. Like I think
it wasn't even hard for me to think what, like, I was like, should I somehow prepare for the podcast? Because it was my first one. I'm like, it's like a sex, like you have to like know what you are gonna talk about, and I had no idea.
I don't prepare.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I will just go and we'll see.
I mean, if it's like somebody who's like a crazy big guest, of course you prepare for that kind of thing. Like, oh my God, it's this guy who wrote 10 books. Then you read his newest book or whatever, at least. But like, I think with that format, with doing that, you get the best out of people, because then now you don't have this expectation. It's not like I have all these questions I'm going to ask you.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
going to be like interview, you know?
Yeah. And that turns into something else. And then you kind of start, what happens is people get a little more stilted. They get a little bit more tight because they're trying to look good. They're trying, and I think like, I've just always done this, but I think it's what happens. It's just like having a casual approach. I think just talking to people like people and treating them like you treat anybody else if you're just hanging out. I think that's where you get the best interviews, the best anything. It's just kind of meeting people on a personal level.
Yeah, like you don't have like any like tense between the people. Like,
and I think in comedy it's kind of the same. Like if you can get on stage and treat the audience like your friends and just kind of find a personal level to meet them at, and that's the best. That's the best place you can be. But it's finding that, wherever it's at. That's the hard part. I think comedy is so hard because you have to find an audience. It's not like meeting one person where they're at. It's meeting a whole audience where they're at. That's so much different. That's what, I like doing the show with one person. I've had people ask me, like, can I have can I bring my friend? And I usually say I'd rather you not, because it creates this whole different situation. You feel like you want to include person number 2, or at least, you know, like they might say something at some point. It's just different. Or especially if it's 2 people and I have 2 guests, because what happens is if they're both friends, they'll start talking to each other, and now I'm kind of over here, and it's not the same thing. And like, I don't know. It's just interesting, again, what you can pull out of people. It's harder to pull something out of people if it's more than one person. I've observed this through experience.
How many, like, do you count like how many guests you already had? Like how many?
Oh, it's got to be around 150, because this is episode 174. I've had people on more than once, so probably 150 people.
Wow,
140.
And how many podcasts were like with like many people, with like 2-3 guests?
I've done that probably around, with more than one guest, around 5 times.
Wow,
maybe more, but around 5. I just never really, every time it happens, I'm like, like I didn't have to. This probably would have been better, would have went smoother if it wasn't this way.
Experienced, bro. Like,
but I think critically about everything I do, and
yeah, it's a good thing. I also do the same with my with what I post, with what I do in my comedy. So yeah, and I feel so cringe to like post or like even sometimes I have a funny thought, funny joke, but sometimes it's just you are a bit shy, but you know you have to like say it on the stage.
What do you mean?
Like to get the response, like you know, you have to actually go to the mic and say the stuff. Like you always have to. You don't need a filter. Like if you will always restrict yourself of like doing the things, you will never do anything. Like you have to shoot your shot. Like
I have a song called Go, and it's one of those songs I wrote where I just feel it on a spiritual level. And the entire concept of the song is that like you just have to go. You just have to do things. I think it's another one of those lessons of life. Like, if you don't do it, you will get. That's what I was saying earlier, like about getting willpower and following. That's the ultimate lesson, because it is that. It's like when you do things, you get forward momentum, whether it's mental forward momentum, whether it's physical forward momentum. You're moving forward.
Yeah,
you're going
you
somewhere.
have the vector, like you are moving somewhere.
And you have to do that. I think that's what humans are. It's what drives us. I think we have to feel like we're moving towards something. We just have
Even
to.
when you get that, oh, that was the wrong direction, now at least you know that was the wrong direction and you'll go the other way.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like so many people are just afraid to start things. I mean, I think everybody should have something creative that they try to do, or some type of outlet, or something. Even just writing stuff down and having a journal.
Even like, I feel like some of my friends, like even back home, they think that I'm so brave just doing like creative stuff and like even like posting. Like, I know that people might cringe from my like jokes or like the stuff that I'm posting, but who cares? Like, at least it goes somewhere.
You'd be surprised, dude. I mean, there's that. There's the people who comment things and cringe and dislike things, but there's so much more that you don't see. I mean, even the people who don't even like a video and they just watch it. I mean, just people who scroll and just watch it for 30 seconds. There's so many of those that you don't even know about, you know?
Yeah.
There's so many people you affect through just being yourself and making that content. And I think people live vicariously through that type of stuff. They live through you doing it, you know, because like I said, a lot of people don't have that. They don't have a way to express themselves. They don't feel like they know how. So they see you do it and they're like, oh, he's just being himself.
I don't know how people like can just watch and like not like the stuff. Like when I see like comedian like posting a reel or like you're doing your like rap, you are posting a reel, I'm liking automatically, like you know, like it's like a support.
You don't have to earn my like.
No.
You don't have to earn my like either. I just like most things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like because I think it gets people excited when they see, oh, he liked my thing. It's just a nice thing to do.
And the thing is, like, I do that to support my friends or people who are like, you know.
I just think it's like the basic tenet of treat others the way you want to be treated. You know, if you would want people to scroll past your stuff and like it. So why would you not? Yeah, I feel the same way. I try to like everything I see. If it pops up on my thing and it's my buddy, boom, boom, immediately. Yeah. Unless they're saying, like, sometimes I watch it and I'm like, whoa! And then I can't like it. That has happened a couple times where I watch it and I'm like, oh, maybe I can't like this one.
Sometimes, like, you know, when you like scroll on Instagram and you see that your bro liked some stuff and you're like, oh, that's so bad. Like, you like that.
I liked a lot of those things. Yeah. Instagram shows me bad stuff. Instagram knows my sense of humor is ridiculous.
Instagram should hide the function of like seeing who liked the post that you're watching. Like sometimes, like,
I know it's kind of incriminating.
Yeah, sometimes like it's more funnier than the actual video. You're like, wow, this person likes this,
because it's literally an N-word joke. It's a joke about the N-word, and then it's like, oh, 5 of my friends like this video. Maybe I should talk to them. But yeah, that's literally. See, I think humor's in this weird spot when it comes to all of that, because I think that with those videos, it's kind of like, I think edgy humor and edgelord humor, we're in this weird thing where a lot of people are kind of trying to reject the whole correction of humor and not saying things that are too edgy and not making fun of certain groups, that now they just want to make fun of everything. And so you have this thing where on Instagram and basically Austin, all of Austin, Texas, it's just the idea is we're going to say the most offensive thing we could possibly say. And that's cool. I like the freedom of it, but at the same time, like, eventually you just get people just saying offensive stuff just because look at me, I'm being there's not much thought behind the jokes a lot of the time.
You know, I've never been in America like when it was like correction time. So yeah, I'm just experiencing. You're
getting the layover, the fallout of the correction.
Yeah, so I'm experiencing on like Chicago comedians. So I don't know what do comedians say in other cities, in other states. So probably it's so different.
Austin, Texas is kind of notorious for being like more of the like right wing, more of really it's the biggest names in comedy. It's Joe Rogan, it's Tony Hinchcliffe, it's all these guys, and they have kind of staked their claim of. They kind of made the comedy scene there. Joe Rogan moving there in 2020 is really what did it. Joe Rogan moved to Austin right around the pandemic, and then he opened up his comedy club called The Mothership. And before that, Kill Tony, that's a pretty big show. And that was, I think they're on episode 680 or something.
I know.
It's so far along. And they were doing it at the Comedy Store way back when. Again, another thing from humble beginnings. That show had nobody there when it started. It was very bare, but you can still find the earliest episodes. You can. It's crazy how not what it is now it was then. And Tony Hinchcliffe followed him there. There were a couple people who were in Austin before Joe Rogan, but he was the big name that moved, and where a lot of people followed him. And so now there's a bunch of comic. Of course, again, he opened his comedy club there, so he put a big comedy hub because he didn't like the way the Comedy Store was going. He didn't like what they were doing at the Comedy Store in LA. Yeah, he felt like the Comedy Store wasn't what it used to be for comics, and he wanted to open his own club. I think that was how Joe Rogan felt. I think I'm saying that wrong. I think actually it was his feelings about LA in general. I don't think Joe Rogan felt any which way about the comedy club. I think he felt like LA was just going the wrong direction politically, and he didn't want to be living there anymore. And so that's why he left. And so Austin's that. Of course, LA I think is kind of known for having like a more cliquey comedy scene. It's more about who you know. It's more about being popular, and people are it's more of a popularity game in LA is what I've been told. And then New York, it's just basically probably Chicago on steroids. You have open mics, probably 3 times as many open mics you can go to. Probably you can go to 5-6 open mics a day if you wanted. And there's probably so many comedians, and they're all rents cost 3 times as much there, so you can only imagine how competitive it feels
probably
there.
It's impossible to live just with comedy in New York.
I think that's why you see Chicago. I think that kind of explains the weird Chicago mentality, is I think Chicago doesn't really want to be New York, and it doesn't really want to be LA, so it's kind of trying to just ride the wave and just be the laid-back comedy city and not be too Hollywood, not be too anything. But in that, I think they kind of are missing. You could do a lot more. I think they could do a lot more.
Become famous worldwide just from Chicago. I don't know why.
There's not a lot of comedians who have done it, though. I don't think.
I think
maybe there are. Maybe
I think if they start producing stuff, they will. Chicago can become.
I should say there's not many breakout stars in the last 5 or 10 years. Because there's not a lot of comics who. There are comics who produce stuff, but I don't think anybody. It's like music again, where you're your own manager. So yeah, sure, you produce stuff. Maybe you even put out your own special on YouTube. Maybe you even do your own podcast. But it's not just the podcast. It's all the clips. It's all the promotion of the special. That is a whole other thing, and that's what a studio is going to do for you that you are not going to have if you don't have a manager, people backing you. And that's why I think a lot of people fall behind, especially in a place like this, because you can have people who their output is crazy and they have all these connections, and you talk to them and it's like they're well known, but for some reason their career is not taking off. And I think it's just the society we live in now is so based upon if we don't see you in front of our faces all the time, do you even exist? If I'm not scrolling on Instagram and I don't see your face, are you even real?
I don't know why Netflix or HBO are not coming to Chicago and watch big Chicago names. I feel like
that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
I think Chicago is at this can't be at the same level as LA or Austin or.
I think it just needs to be highlighted.
Yeah. We need to have one big star.
Or maybe like you just said, Netflix or one of these specials says let's do a Chicago only special. Yeah. And let's have a bunch of big names from Chicago. Let's put them all on in one show, and maybe even throw in a couple smaller names. Maybe throw in a couple people, and by smaller names I mean people who are still popular but just not crazy popular.
Because I think Chicago comedians deserve the popularity.
They do.
I see comedians clips from LA comedians. Sometimes there was a group in Russia which translate their English specials, like Netflix specials. And all of them are like from LA, New York. And now I compare, and I think Chicago comedians are at the same level. So, yeah.
And they put in the same amount of work. They're doing just as much. It's not like they're doing less.
They spend time.
I think it's just there's not platforms. That's why I say that, because in LA and Austin, like with Kill Tony and these shows, and I think Austin's full of people doing podcasts. Like the podcast space in Chicago is an interesting thing to look at too. There's people that are doing podcasts, but you don't see big names with big listener bases in Chicago doing in the comedy scene. I really don't. You'll see people who have moderate fan bases, and it's all right, but there's nothing where it's like 10,000 views per episode, 50,000 views per episode. That just doesn't exist in the Chicago comedy. Whereas in Austin, New York, LA, you have that. There is that. And again, it's platforms. It's places comedians can go to be highlighted and speak and be seen. You don't have a lot of that in Chicago. Because I think you could put in all the work, but who's going to put you in the spotlight you need to be put in to really shine? Because that's what you need. You just need to be on the right stage at the right time. That's all you really need. Wow. That's why. That's why. And then what I was going to say about the route as a comedian earlier is that what's interesting about it, and why I've talked about it before, is it's so different than everything else, because it used to be different. In the 90s, it used to be you want a special. Everybody, once you had your HBO special, once you got your special, you're made. You're done. You did it as a comedian. You're successful. Then it became a sitcom. Now I have to have a sitcom, and I want to be on a TV show. And that was it for a while. And then it became like, I think, Comedy Central special. I think it became specials again after the TV shows. I think it was specials for a minute. Like Comedy Central special, and getting on again, like SNL used to be way bigger in the comedy world. Now and then nowadays, I guess what's making it and late night shows. That's another one that used to be really big. Was right after sitcoms. It was late night shows.
Late night show in Chicago, right? That's filmed in Chicago, or for like TV.
I don't think so. There's the morning TV, which WGN TV, I think it is, which you will see comedians turn up on. You'll see comedians be on there sometimes, but that doesn't have the exposure that something like a late night show would have. Again, New York. Yeah, New York. Yeah,
imagine one comedian in Chicago opens his late night show and he can invite like a bunch of comedians to the sets. That's awesome.
And I think it's a spider web thing again. Yeah. Like I think if you had one big Chicago comedian like that and it went well, it would put the spotlight on Chicago, and all of a sudden that would unravel, and you'd start to see other Chicago comedians pop up. Because there's not a whole, like in the last 5 or 10 years, no breakout stars, no people from Chicago where it's like, whoa, this big name. The guy who just passed away, Ken Flores, he was getting pretty popular, and it's kind of a shame he passed away, because he probably would have been that guy, the big breakout star from Chicago. The big name that's getting worldwide acclaim.
Yeah, I wish I saw him before he passed away. Yeah.
Another thing where it's like you're in these open mics, and it's crazy because he's one of those dudes who was just there like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, doing the same thing. You never know who it's going to be in who it's going to be that surpasses everybody and breaks out. It might even be the guy that's not that funny right now. They just all of a sudden might turn funny one day. It's a very unpredictable thing, And I just wonder about, like, it makes me wonder about fate and all of this. Like, are the people who are successful, are they just bound to be successful? Like, maybe it is truly the case that you just have to wait for your time to come, and then one day it will happen, and it's...
I mean, you still have to put the work.
Sure.
Like, if you're not showing up to the mics, to the shows, like, there is no chance that the producer will see you. So you just have to keep going. Like you just keep posting.
Well, it's a little bit of both, though. It's like you can't have expectations. Like you can't expect one show to be it or one thing to be it. You just have to keep going. Yeah, which is hard. That's hard. Mm-hmm. It's like the never-ending song, the never-ending game. It's Sisyphus pushing a rock up a hill. Dude, it never ends. And you always got to keep... I think about that, too, when it comes to, like, people who are famous and people who are big, like, who have developed a fan base. You think about, like, I think people idealize success and they want to be successful. Wouldn't that be great? But those people who are successful, they're just doing the same thing as you. They just have more pressure now. Now it matters. Now all of a sudden you have to keep writing jokes, or else you lose.
Like you have to like prove it again that you're funny.
Yeah,
like if
and
you
again,
put
like
one special, it's not enough. Like you have to.
And it's never enough.
Yeah,
it's never.
It's like when you win the NBA title and the next season you have to like prove that you can do it again. Like that's why like Michael Jordan is like so famous. Like he did like 6 times, 5 times.
I think so. Yeah,
so,
6 rings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a trick that we play in our minds. That's how I think about it. Like there's no end in sight. There's no end ever. I think about it like even in terms of spirituality and seeking what do you call it, what's the word I'm looking for, like when you're looking for Zen, like the feeling of Zen, the feeling of transcendence, the feeling of enlightenment. That's the word I'm looking for. The truth of enlightenment is you're never fully enlightened. To be enlightened and to feel enlightenment is to realize that feeling is a passing feeling, and it's always a process of seeking enlightenment and trying to achieve it. And there's never ever an oasis you reach. That never ever happens. And that's what they're trying to teach you in those philosophies. Is that same thing? Is that it's always about trying to approach that, but you'll never ever get there.
Like you never feel. You can never say that you reached happiness
because it's impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible. Like you just have to be in the moment.
And I think like happiness finds you. It's strange how it works. You know, I think being in the moment leads you to happiness if you make the right choices, which is the craziest part. You know, you just all of a sudden find yourself in the right place. Like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. I think when you look for things, that's when you don't find them. Like when you try too hard to look for something, and then it's like when you lose your keys, you have to leave, and you're looking for your keys, you can't find them anywhere. But the moment you give up, your keys are right under the chair.
Wow, yeah.
I think it's the same thing in life. When you look too hard for something, you can never ever find it sometimes. You're looking too hard.
I mean, yeah.
Like looking for success. I'm looking for happiness. I'm looking for success. I'm looking for that. As soon as I'm looking for a relationship, whatever it is. Yeah. As soon as you stop looking, boom,
but you know, like actually now people promote like looking for some like manifestation, or like how people like put I'll put the picture of me like having 1 million followers, and somehow I will manifest like 1 million followers.
I suppose when I say that, I should say when like you're looking for like an ideal, like when you're looking for something that's perfectly ideal, then you will not find it. That's what I should say, because I think setting goals and like what you just described is
it's okay. Yeah.
It's the most important thing you could do. I mean. All those people who had beat the impossible odds, those famous people who made it and did it, there's 1 million people who didn't make it and couldn't do it. But those people who did were all telling themselves, I'm going to be famous. You know, there's not one person who got famous or who got successful that was saying to themselves, I'm not going to be successful. Like you have to visualize.
You have to have mindset.
You have to. There's no reason not to. You're just going to set yourself up to fail if you don't. If you really don't believe in yourself. Yeah,
but I think you should also focus on just the journey.
Well, and I think the goal, the mindset helps you focus on the journey, because it's like if I know where Z is, if I know where I want to go, realistically then what do I have to do to get there? Like if I want to be a comedian, that people know, how do I get there? I go to open mics. I have to do that all the time. Those are the things I have to do if I want to reach that goal. So I think it's both of those. Like I think they play into one another, because when you do go to the open mics, it plays into that long-term goal too. Then you're thinking into the future and you are getting better. So you have to do both. I just think I think it's all the same. Like you have to train your mind to do certain things. It's all habits. We're creatures of habit, right?
Yeah. Like most of the stuff that we're doing, it's like it's automated. Like
and you know what's so interesting about that is drunk driving. You know, think about it. Just think about drunk driving. Let's have a thought exercise.
Okay.
When you're drunk, when you're really drunk, you should not know how to navigate home. But if you've driven home 100 times, 500 times, 1,000 times, that's how you become a really good drunk driver. It's like riding a bike. if I've ridden a bike before, all of a sudden my brain remembers how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
So your brain's built this way because you can't have too much information. So you learn to compartmentalize and then not think about things so much so you can put space in for other things. And so that's what's happening. Your brain remembers the path of the drive. It's why if you did the same drive 10 times in a row, it feels way shorter on the 10th time than the first time. Because your brain has done this so many times.
Actually, yes.
You're not even thinking about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's just a thing that's happening. You know?
Wow, I never thought that it's actually shorter than it's actually.
And it's because of the way your brain thinks. It's your brain literally is thinking about it differently than it was the first time. It's really interesting how it does it.
Yeah.
And that's how you can do things when you're drunk. It's why when people are really drunk or really inebriated, really high, they can still do things effectively because they're so proficient at the thing they're doing. It doesn't matter how inebriated they are, how drunk they are. That thing is built into them. They're like a robot.
Yeah,
they're automated.
Even like performances, like we're like robots. Like comedians, you know the place where you need to stop before the punchline or after, or like you are doing your rap sets. Like I feel like you also like by doing it so many times, it's getting better and better. And
there's a certain like doing it over and over and learning the ins and outs of it. I think you kind of can learn to, again, you can think around it in a way. Like you can start to do things. Like I think that's how comedians get really good. Is now not only are you doing jokes, but you're like analyzing your jokes in real time as you're doing them. Like, oh, I'm gonna put a pause right here that I don't usually put right here. Oh, they laughed. Maybe I'll throw in that tag I was thinking about earlier. Like a bunch of little things that a starting comic wouldn't do. But that's the stuff that comes with doing something for a long time, is you start to remember all those little things and it all pays off. It's why if somebody's a really good, like a professional, you would pay them more, because not only are you paying for the equipment they bring and whatever, like if you're paying for a music video or camera, like I'm not paying, if someone's going to take pictures of me, I'm not paying for the camera they bring. I'm paying for all those years of experience that make them who they are, and that lets them know, oh, I need to hold the camera like this in this spot with this light, because they've been through this so many times. And that stuff is just so, it's crazy how it becomes background noise at a certain point. Like you don't even realize you're doing it. When you become good at something, you don't even realize those. Like when I'm freestyle rapping, for example, I'm not even really thinking about the intricacies of what I'm doing. I'm just rapping because I have to be thinking ahead of myself to even go anywhere with it. Like, so, punching you. I be giving you some damage, bruh. A second ago, I looked over at the camera. It's how I wanted to come out, and then I reach you so I could tell you how I make these raps and teach you. Check it. I said, I'm the best for my health, and I gotta tell you like this, I gotta think ahead of myself. I mean, when I'm shooting, you know I'm gonna spray because I gotta know before what I'm gonna say. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I have to be thinking the whole time about what's the next word gonna be, and then set that up, and all of that's happening in the background of me actually talking. And it's just like comedy. If you were really good at comedy, you could probably go up there and kill no matter what. You've done this a million times. You got 1,000 jokes stacked up in your brain.
Yeah, that's why I like to, I don't know, I just like the journey. I like to go to mics. Yeah, like maybe I wish I was doing like more shows, like spots, but I think it's better for me to do now more mics and getting better.
It's probably a good spot for you to be in, just because like there's a certain self-awareness to that, right? Like a lot of people just want to get booked and that's all they want.
Yeah, I want to be like, you know, like I do the show and the producer's actually like, oh, it was worth it. Like he's actually good. So he's going to book me another time and he's going to tell about me to his friends, other producers. So like I want to, like sometimes like that's why I was shy to reach out to people, because I was thinking maybe I'm not good enough now to get booked. When I was like back in like February when I did like 2-3 mics, I thought it's at least arrogant to like message the person and like telling him that you are good, but then you boom on stage. I didn't want to be that, so that's why I was like, okay, I won the comedy vouch by Comedy Gazelle. Then I was booked to Laugh Act, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting my 10 minutes, probably, yeah. Now I can actually message people. Wow.
Huh.
Like, I want to like reach out to people when I think that that I can actually do it, like, you know?
No, I completely understand. I mean, it's why this show's in a sweet spot. It's the same thing. Because now that I've had enough comedians on, it's easier to reach out to a bigger comedian and say, hey, just like, or the fact that I've been on Roast Battle Chicago. Like, I feel like that gives me something to say to comedians. Hey, I'm a comedian who's on stage at Zany's once or twice a month, or I'm a musician who's featured at Zany's, I should say, something like that. Because immediately in our brains, if you're the comedian and you're reading that, oh, this guy's in the community, he's doing things.
Yeah.
That gives them a reason to communicate with me. And it's like, I completely understand what you're saying, because that's a whole different thing to say to somebody than just reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, I'm a comedian. I've been doing open mics for a month or two in the city. That's completely different.
Definitely.
And it's just so hard to... It's so hard to be in the beginning phase of that, of like establishing yourself and planting those seeds. And it's weird. You feel weird being...
you always have this like imposter like syndrome. Like you're thinking like, oh, I'm not good enough to reach out. But at one point you have to go as yourself.
Yeah, and just do it and just say hi to people and just put yourself out there. And you know, there was something I read in a book called Emotional Intelligence. I can't remember what the context was, but it was like a study or something, and they were looking at the way that people act if you're in a group. And I think what it was is like, if all these people are talking and you have a bunch of people talking and it's a bunch of friends, most people would be standing outside of that group and not want to enter that group for fear of rejection. So it's, again, that going and entering that group that is the act of maturity. And because 9 times out of 10, the group will accept you as one of them, and they're not gonna... You're just creating this idea in your mind that, oh, they're not like me. They have this whole thing, and I'm different.
It was a bit hard for me to, like, even at uni, to, like, talk to, like, white people, and like I was like, can I even talk to them? Like I was like, they have their own friend groups and stuff, but after like some attempts, you're getting that they're also like the same people as you are. So.
Well, it's like we said about Chicago too earlier, about like the community being accepting. I think this community would be a good place for you to do that, because it maybe not so much in those other big comedy cities. Like Chicago, most people are going to be nice to you at an open mic. Most people want to build connections and make friends. Like that's the goal for a lot of people. And so you'd probably be successful just saying hi to everybody and just not... I think when you think too much about that, like, oh, are these people going to know? Are these people even going to get what I'm saying? Then you just trick yourself into something that's not even... real, you know. I do that to myself all the time. Like doing interviews, I'll do that. I'll be like, oh, is this gonna be awkward? Is this gonna be the bad one? Is this gonna be the time that it goes bad? And then that never ever happens, you know.
Oh, nice.
People, that's just what I think we do. That I think humans are really good at scaring themselves.
I know. I'm so scared to be intrusive, like, you know. When you want to meet with someone, like, because you know this person is like big and you're like, okay, I think I have to talk to him, but I don't want to be intrusive and like I don't want to overwhelm and stuff. But sometimes you just have to go. Yeah, you're right. I
always just wait for the proper moment. Like sometimes I try to say hi to everybody, but I try to like, you know, like I don't say hi to... If I'm at an open mic, I wait till after I go on stage, because I don't want to... If you don't know, if you haven't seen what I do, I don't want to walk up to you and just be some random guy. I want you to see me and then go, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I always like I reach out about like booking after I met the person in person. Like, yeah.
It's just so much different. Yeah. I feel like reaching out to people, making connections and all that, it comes more naturally to some people than others, obviously.
It depends on your personality, if you're extroverted, introverted.
And that's why some people, like, again, just need a manager, just need proper people to guide them along. And there's no shame in that. I mean,
and I feel like my English improved because, like, I was listening to, like, you guys speaking at open mics. I started to talk to you, and, like, apparently even, like, being on this podcast also improves my English. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We've been talking like more than 2 hours. It's been recording, right?
Yeah, and we were talking before this too.
Wow, yes.
Watching Mission Impossible.
Yeah, 2 hours. That's my longest English conversation that I ever had.
No way, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You're doing great. I'll tell you. If I didn't know, if you didn't tell me, I probably couldn't even guess.
Yeah, the only thing that I was thinking is like, okay, I hope the mic is taking my voice, like that it sounds proper. Like,
the mic's got you
okay,
good.
okay,
These are
okay,
great
okay.
mics.
Okay.
But like, what was I gonna say?
Yeah, maybe
what I was worried because I was thinking, if his English is a second language, I use big words sometimes, and I'm not even like trying to sound smart. I just use big words.
No, you're good. Like I might not know maybe 1-2 words, but from the context, I get what's the meaning.
So if I was to say, like, let me think of an example. If I was to say, like, that was a really consequential thing that happened.
Consequential. I know this word.
You know, see, I'm trying to think because sometimes I'll just use words that I feel like people like what's a word?
I feel like it's I know the like formal complex words, but it's when
soliloquy.
It's like, yeah, I don't. It's like silly. That's
soliloquy is something from like a play where I think you do a monologue. I think that's what a soliloquy is. It's like when someone's speaking in a play and they do a monologue.
I don't know what the terms,
but it's only them speaking.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't know the terms, but for me sometimes it's hard to get the slang. Like
it
depends.
Right.
Like
he said cringe.
No, cringe.
You did use cringe.
No, but cringe.
Do you know? Let me think of some more slang.
Cringe is used worldwide now.
Let me see if I can get you.
I like only the word that Chicago people use. Like, you can hear this word only in Chicago.
Oh, that slang?
Yeah, that type of slang.
You know what glizzy means?
Nah.
It's a gun.
Oh.
Or it's a penis. It's one or the other.
See?
Or it's a hot dog. Glizzy can actually be 3 things. What else? Let me see if I can teach you some slang right now. I mean, you know what fire means. I'm sure you've heard fire. Drink of water. Lit. You heard that's lit?
Yeah, it's like good.
Yeah, like that's lit, bro. Like it's turned up. Turn up.
Mm-hmm.
Turn up.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I should know more of my America slang. What did they say in the 90s?
I even like
radical, dude. You ever hear that one before?
No, I know
Everyone
this
says
one.
that.
Yeah. I think I even before I came here, I even subscribed to like Instagram influencers that are using the slang, like just to like learn more, and they like give the examples. But I don't actually watch them a lot. Like they pop up like once in a week. Yeah.
You hear goon? That's a new one. Gooning.
Gooning. I don't know.
It's masturbation.
That? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm gonna use this word. Yeah. Is it
people
only used
say
in Chicago?
I'm a professional gooner. I'm a gooner. I'm a big gooner. I goon hard. Yeah, it's something the kids say. It's getting popular on the social media. Goon is getting big. Like there was a guy who he had masturbated in a drive-through and he got caught, and then he committed suicide a couple days later. Wow. And the internet was talking about his gooneral.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny.
It's funny. It's sad because he actually did die, but it is a very funny thing. The internet took it a fun direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, gooning is. You know what's so funny about these new things is like the internet humor now is so like it's so out there, but you got to remember it's like 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, like they are pioneering the humor of TikTok and Instagram. We don't realize it, but it's them. It's the 8-year-olds. They're in charge.
Wow, actually, yeah.
But I think they're probably so corrupt at a young age now. Just the jokes they hear, the things they watch.
Yeah,
I can only imagine. They know an 8-year-old would know what I'm saying when I say goon. An 8-year-old would be like, "Oh, hi, you said gooning." They would know what I'm talking about. That's what's so crazy about it.
Yeah, I didn't curse like when I was a child. I didn't curse.
No cursing. I didn't curse when I was a child either. I think I remember.
I was punished when I was cursing.
So, really? I have a significant memory of being with my friend under like the porch at my house. Like we were sitting under the porch because that's what kids do, and we were writing down swear words. We wrote down the swear words, and they're like, "I can't believe you wrote that." You know, it was exciting to write down swear words.
But you know, for me, English swear words are not that bad. Like, they don't sound bad.
I feel like they do.
I don't know. Like, I don't have enough emotional connection with these words. So, for me, like, the words in Kazakh or Russian, like, sound and have more meaning than the English swear words.
Wow.
Like, for me, like, fuck, it's just the word. It's like a part of English vocabulary. Like, you know, every song has it, every movie has it. Like, swear to God, it's, I don't know.
That's really interesting. You know what it reminds me of? The Pavlov's bell with the dog.
Ah, yeah.
Like how, because when I hear that word, it's like a bell goes off and it's like a trigger word.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, it's just a word because you weren't trained like that.
Yeah.
You were never told at a young age, hey, look out for this word.
Yeah, no.
Because that's how, like, when I hear Spanish swear words, I think of them as just words.
Yeah,
I don't think of them as anything else. It just sounds like a Spanish.
For me, any English word is just a word.
Wow. Like punta. Punta means fuck in Spanish. I think like, or pinche. Like pinche madre means fucking mother. Fuck.
Wow.
Pinche güero, I think means fucking white boy. I think that's what that means. Heard that one a couple times before, actually. Shout out my Mexicans at work. Shout out I shouldn't say Mexicans, I should say South Americans. Shout out my South Americans at work.
Who do you work as, by the way? I don't know.
Giordano's.
Wow, that's
South
how you
Loop,
mentioned.
Giordano's.
Wow. Do you make the pizza?
Yeah, no, but I do sling the pizza. I carry the pizza out to people. I take their orders. I do all kinds of things. I eat the pizza.
Nice.
I do eat the pizza.
Is it close to your house?
No, South Loop. So it's like right at the bottom of downtown. Like right, you got downtown and then right at the bottom. Like right when you're about to go to Chinatown, right there.
Yeah, I should go to Chinatown.
Chinatown's great.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like Chinatown is fantastic. And the food is not expensive. It's like good prices. That's what's so nice about Chinatown.
Wow.
Is that it's right in that perfect price range where it's only, I don't know, like 20. Kitty, we're not doing that. It's only $20. She's acting up. Animals are smart. Animals are genius, actually. I would argue that animals are closely connected with intuition, and they understand intuition on a level that we cannot, and that's why they can understand when hurricanes are coming and all this. Yeah. They're closely connected with nature in a way that we could never be, because we've escaped that through all of our duality and all of our this and that and all of our thinking. We find a way to get outside of that. I think it might even be possible that we do have those senses and we just don't tap into them.
And animals like feel your energy, you know, like when you enter the room. Like your dog and cat was so friendly to me. So I feel that after that I'm feeling so comfortable on the podcast. So maybe that's the key. That's
what you guys didn't see is they were surrounding him before the camera turned on.
Yeah, so
that is a real thing, though. Yeah, and I think they're an extension of you. Your animals are an extension of you in this way.
So many people are having like dog or cat in Chicago. So it's like American thing. So I never had an animal. So maybe when I don't know, move to US, I'll probably have an animal. I will see.
In your culture, it's just not popular to have an animal.
I mean, we usually we have dogs. Like if it's like you have a house, you usually have a dog outside. That's like protecting your house.
Not like a family pet.
Not like a family pet. Like of course you have feelings. You feed the dog, but it's just outside most of the time.
Yeah.
And if you have an apartment, probably you usually go out with the dog. But we don't have so many dog people in my country.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think like man and cat is an interesting relationship. But man and dog, they say man's best friend is a dog. That's what they say. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, I was trying to research the connection, like where it all starts, and I think it's hunting. I think it all goes back to when it was you were in, I think it's huskies and hunting and the cold climates and all that. I think that's how dogs started to become domesticated, and then now we're 10,000 years down the line. It was a long time. It wasn't super long ago, but it was 10 to 20,000 years, I think.
What do you think relationship between man and cat?
That's the other one I was looking into, because I was thinking, you got man and dog, how about man and cat? And I think man and cat is that the cat, it's about rodents. I think we decided to take in the cats because of the rodents outside, and maybe even part of me feels like the cats tricked us all along. Like the cats domesticated themselves because they were tired of being outside. Because I feel like cats are so smart that they might have just done that, and that they domesticated themselves. But it is like, if you're thinking, why would cats be good for humans? Why would we have taken them in and domesticated them? It's rodents for sure. I mean, they probably were so big of a problem in the past compared to now. I mean, even now they're not good, but 1,000 years ago, rats, oh my God. You don't have pesticide.
Yeah, so does your cat like catch the rats?
If she can, yeah.
Wow,
She likes Oscar likes to chase squirrels, and he likes to chase. He's killed a couple groundhogs. He's Oscar's a little murderer, actually. But they both have. I think animal. It's because they're domesticated. It's within them to want to hunt and protect.
They're the predators.
Well, Oscar, like, he's part of like a Mountain Feist is the breed I told you. So it's a terrier breed, and that breed in general is kind of like hunting dogs and stuff like that. Wow. Dogs that like to run and chase things down. Wow. Whereas cats, I think in general are they're kind of like hunters. Cats are just hunters. That's why I was telling you before we started recording here how cats have separate lives and they want to be outside, because that's just how it is. Yeah. Cats want to hunt, and they want to chase down rats.
And do you believe that like men are dogs and women are cats?
When I was a kid, I literally thought that all dogs were boys and all cats were girls, until I was like 8 years old. That's so funny, because I really thought that. But I do think that men are closer. I think dogs are more masculine and cats are more feminine. Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. Yeah. Just kind of, which is odd the way that plays out.
When I think of dog, I'm thinking of male dog, and when I'm thinking of a cat, I'm thinking of
female cat.
Female cat.
That's what I thought when I was a kid. Yeah. I thought everything was that. But yeah, no, I think dogs are just more. I wonder why that is. I guess cats are more independent, and cats are more. Cats are wiser, and cats will use their resources in a way that a dog would not. A dog is more simple-minded. A dog is more utilitarian. I have bone. I have snack. I have treat. I have food. Cat is more like, how do I trick human into giving me more food? Like the cat is finding. That's why cats pee on your things when they're mad at you. Dogs would never ever plot against you and do things to make you upset, because they're trying to send a message. A cat will. So I think it's closer to a woman than a man. I think a woman will do subconscious things, whereas a man is more direct. A man is going to tell you exactly what the problem is and how he feels, and that's the general archetype of what a man would do. A woman is going to not address it directly, but talk around it and express their discontent with you without saying outright what the problem is, just like a cat. The cat's gonna pee on your stuff because you didn't feed it that day.
Yeah, women are definitely wiser and smarter than men.
And a dog would never be smart enough to pee on your stuff. The dog doesn't realize how to send a message. He doesn't know how effectively to get it done.
And even the thing that you were talking before the podcast, like how the cat like giving a signal to other cats that she wants to like reproduce, like
cats do. Dogs don't do that. Cats will literally moan into the night. Dogs will not. My cat heat sound, I'm proud of it. I can do cat meows pretty good. Check this out. This works on cats. And then if I want to do like a kitten.
No, a bunch of male cats are gonna be around the house now.
Cat and heat, here we go. It's literally and it goes on for
that sounded like a wind, you know.
It's really disturbing when you hear it in real life. And if you ever hear them having sex, oh my God. Should I do the sound?
Yeah, she just wants to join you.
It's wild. So, Yeah, there's that. There's those crazy cat sounds you hear. And it's because cats are, again, I think they're wild animals that we've just figured out how to domesticate and take in. And maybe that was their doing, but man, they are noisy. They will let you know what's going on. A dog just, well, dogs, now that I think about it, they don't, there we go, I got the cat talking back. Dogs don't, they don't sexually have mating calls, but they do,
That's something.
that is something, and that's like letting the other wolf know, hey, I'm over here, you're over there.
That's why wolves do that.
Yeah. It's like, how else would you communicate in the woods?
No, I
You
think
gotta yell.
I thought they're doing that just to like, oh, I just got more meat, like come, like.
Well, maybe, but that's the same thing, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Say your cubs, or what do you call a baby wolf? Your homie, your little baby. Say homie, you know that one? That's American slang.
Course.
All right, good. I'm trying to think. I want to get you on some good
I'm
ones.
American now. Yeah, I've been here 6 months.
But yeah, say you want your little homie to come home, eat the human you just got. You got to shout him out. That's probably the way.
Yeah.
It's funny if you have sirens go by, like, and you have big dogs in your backyard. The dogs will start howling at the sirens because it sounds like dogs howling to them. So it's a siren. It's going by. It's going.
Yeah.
And the dog is in the background going, oh, because they think they're howling back at another dog. And it's crazy how a domesticated dog knows to howl like that. Like, it's built into them to howl from all their wolf DNA. Because again, we're just monkeys. I mean, we're just monkeys that figured out how to do stuff.
Yeah, imagine dogs are gonna figure out what
I've had this conversation on this show before, and I wonder what would be worse if you had dogs with opposable thumbs or if you had dogs with voices. If dogs could talk or if dogs could have opposable thumbs. Which one would be worse? Like, which one would they take over society faster? I feel like the opposable thumbs is all they need. That's what I think.
Actually, yeah, because they can communicate with other dogs anyway. Yeah.
They can open the fridge.
Yeah.
They can open the door. They can do anything.
Kill you.
They could kill you.
Yeah.
They would just kill all of us. They would start taking us for walks.
Yeah.
Especially the big dogs. You'd have to worry about the Rottweilers and all these big dogs.
Yeah.
They would be violent with opposable thumbs. That would be scary. They'd be like bears. We would not be friends with dogs anymore if they had opposable thumbs. And if they had voices, it would kind of just be... What I like to think about if a dog had a voice is imagine...
a friendly voice. I don't know why.
That's what I was going to say, is what would their voice sound like? Because we all like to think my dog's going to have like a fun voice. But what if your dog had like the complete opposite voice of what you expect? Like, then you start talking to your dog and all of a sudden they're like...
Yeah, imagine your dog starts talking and she doesn't like you, actually.
Yeah, your dog's really rude. Yeah. I like it better when you were silent. This is not cool. Back when all you said was roar, that was the best time of my life. Now all of a sudden you're being really mean to me and bullying me. Because you never know. Or your dog is just like, you think your dog is going to be like, it's this big giant dog. And you think it's going to sound like this. And then your dog starts talking, it's like this. Your dog's just talking like, it's like a Rottweiler. And it's talking like, wait a minute. Like my whole vision of you has changed.
Yeah.
Like, I thought your personality was going to be so different. Or like a bulldog with that same voice. A bulldog that talks like a Jersey girl, like a girl, like, oh my God. You have a bulldog talk like that.
I like to think that like dogs and animals in general, like pets are like portraying the keepers. Like if you're like, your dog is like you, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I say that it's an extension of you. It's like what they model their behavior after yours. I think they see you act in the world, and it's just like children. Yeah. It's kind of training for kids. That's how I think about it. Like, that's why I think a pet is just a light version of a child. Yeah.
Wow.
Because you get to experience. It's not as many consequences, but there is a lot of consequences. You are supporting a life. You are teaching a life how to live, essentially, especially if you get them as a puppy or a kitten. Yeah, you're all they know. Like, I think about that, like, I'm probably God to my dog. I'm probably God himself to my dog. You probably thinks I'm God.
Yeah.
I feed him. I give him everything. He's alone until I'm here. I'm the only example he has outside of the outside world. I'm all he ever really sees. He probably thinks I'm the one true knower of all knowledge. I am the... Because, I mean, that's how we think about our parents when we're children. Like, oh, wow, they know everything. They're the adults. They know things. And then all of a sudden you become a human with your own agency. That never happens for the dog.
Yeah. Imagine your dog starts talking, she just goes to another...
Graduates.
He
becomes a foreign exchange student and goes to another country.
Yeah.
Whoa, where are you going? Huh? He says, I'm going to Kazakhstan. What?
Yeah.
You're going to Kazakhstan?
Yeah. You imagine he's like, I have family there. Yeah. I was adopted by you, but my family is actually there. I have to go back.
What are you talking about? He's like, I was on Ancestry. I found it online.
Yeah.
That's where my family is. Yeah. Like, wait, can we talk about this? No, I already got the tickets. I'm leaving today. He packed his bags.
Yeah, imagine your cat is actually going to Kazakhstan just to see the lines that I show you.
She's going to Egypt to check out where they used to worship cats. I heard that was really nice. I heard they really liked cats back then. I wanted to see. I
think even like Arab countries do like cats a lot.
I think again, like cats are interesting in the way that they. Speaking of the devil, right? You can pop that door if you could reach it. Yeah. But cats are interesting in the way that they have found their way into humanity, you know, and I think that's kind of what those people who have worshipped cats were on. Of course, there's different animals that prop up in different societies of the past, like bulls, like cats, like birds, all kinds of animals pop up. I mean, even now, America has the iconography of an eagle. The eagle is very closely affiliated with America still. So there's that. But it's not like religious like it used to be in the past. You used to worship animals. I mean, I couldn't worship a cat. They pee on everything. How can I worship something that pees everywhere? I don't get that. If God peed everywhere, I would be... If Jesus returned to earth and he was peeing on everything, you'd be a little shocked. That's what I have to say here today on Ruse Radio. That's the moral of the story for you to take away.
Yeah, that's...
For real, though, I do want to make sure to hit on it one more time just before you get out of here. We've talked a lot of nonsense, but I just think, like, your whole story of coming to Chicago and doing comedy here and adapting here and, like, wanting to come back and integrating into this, like, world of comedy, it's cool. I think it's a very cool, like, path for you to be on. And, again, like... you're not alone in that. There's a lot of comedians who will come here from smaller communities, like communities where they were a comedian. And what is that comedy collective you're a part of?
It's called Stand Up Astana. Yeah.
Okay. And that's just like a group in the city puts it all together. How does that work?
And we have like our own YouTube channel. So some comedians are actually touring around the country.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Because It's always, it must just always be a crazy thing to come from that, to be part of this big collective, and you've established yourself in your country, and now you're in this whole new world, and it just feels like you're a fish out of water, and it's all, you know, that one, fish out of water, that's an American phrase.
I know. What else is there? Like elephant in the pot? Elephant in the room.
Elephant in the room, yeah.
Well, there is another one about the pot or like teapot. You're not my teapot or something like that.
You're not my don't teapot call it kettle black. The teapot calling the kettle black. You know that one? Or the because it's like saying if you're guilty of something, don't accuse someone else of something. It's the pot calling the kettle black. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear this one.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like saying you're a hypocrite. It's kind of like what it is.
Wow. Is it visible? It looks so cool.
Thank you. My sister painted it, actually. My sister painted it for me as a gift. And it is kind of like the perfect touch for this miniature set I've got going on, is to have...
I hope like listeners and people who are watching can actually see.
Oh, they can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because the camera's right there, so it's right in between us.
Okay.
That's why it's kind of like the perfect thing to put right there, because it's like you've got you, it says Ruse, and then it's got me. And it's I feel like I don't have a logo for the show. If any,
I think this one can be a logo.
it could be, but it has to say radio. Ruse radio.
Or radio or like a mic, you know? Like it needs to like
maybe throw a microphone around it.
Somewhere, yeah, a mic.
For those just listening, it's Ruse, but it has the letters are kind of sprawling in from the sides. Maybe throwing a mic on there would be good. I think the way to do it was would be to have a big circle encapsulating it, and then to put the mic in the circle under Ruse. So it's like the circle, it's a color, it's a mic, and then Ruse on top. I don't know if that would be too messy, but that might be the way to, because it's like saying radio. You're right. Yeah, we need a logo. The other thing we don't have is a theme song, which is kind of ironic.
You can do one.
I know, I can make one myself.
You have one.
I play a song at the end, but I don't have the reason I don't do it is because I think I would rather just go right into the podcast than have like 20 seconds where it's my song, because I think that kind of
maybe you can have like a jingle like between the parts of the podcast. I don't
interlude.
Yeah.
30 minutes in, just wasn't that great? Didn't you have fun watching Ruse Radio? Just
buy the t-shirt.
You buy my shirt. Come to my show. Just a cute little song. I do. Yeah, that would probably be it. There's a freestyle rapper named Harry Mack, and I've seen him for his ads on his podcast or for his YouTube videos. He'll freestyle rap the ads. That's funny. Like if I were to freestyle rap, yo, hey, doing what you had to see next week Saturday. Catch me at Laugh Factory. Just like advertise. Like that might be cool.
You should have that. You should do the same for Zenis.
Yeah. Well, See, the problem is you can only rhyme roast battle so many times. Maybe I'm wrong. I roast battle. It's go battle. Go whole paddle. Tone rattle. Don't whole saddle. Battle tattle. Yeah.
Let's settle down.
Settle down. Settled in a saddle. Settled in a saddle. Coming in with the rattle. Yo, I'm telling you that I tattle. Yo, I don't rap. I dabble. You understand all those words?
Was the last one dabble?
Dabble.
What does?
Ooh, I got you on one.
Okay.
Dabble. So dabble is like, if I don't do something all the time, I just do it sometimes. Like I dabble in
sometimes.
That.
Okay.
Basically, sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of a synonym of sometimes.
Wow, dabble.
The English language is a weird language. I feel like it would be a tough one to learn.
And I feel like sometimes for my joke, I know the word, but I think they're like more specific words that I should use. But I just don't know the word. Like I can use like confuse like really simple words, but sometimes you need to say like, oh, that's ridiculous. That's so confusing. Like you have to use precise words that actually. I feel like sometimes I still struggle in expressing my feelings.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, because you're trying to say one thing, but it's lost in translation.
Yeah.
Like the exact word that describes.
In my mind, I have this different premise rather than I put into the word. And even when you ask the translator, the Google Translate, it just gives you the basic one.
Right.
And you have to actually look up for the synonyms. Yeah.
Interesting. Like, if I was to say, man, last night I was driving and I had the worst, most awful experience. It was hideous. Hideous is a very specific word to use. So I don't think that word would be the natural word you would get from a translation. That's the type of thing where it's like, it's such a... Because comedy's like that. It's very much about word choice and using a word that you might not normally use even. Yeah, like if you just use the most basic words, it's a lot harder to stand out. Wow, I never thought about that.
And the thing is, if I'm doing even that, like I'll create like English mic in my city and back home, I know that people might not understand these specific words.
Yeah.
Because like it's not the native language.
Yeah.
And I feel like even if I create the open mic, most of the Kazakhs will just come to hear the English language, like to like practice listening skills. Like, well, that's why like people are like watching YouTube videos, like listening to podcasts, just like train the listening skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that listening to podcasts has definitely molded a lot of my conversational etiquette, and that a good podcast is good listening skills. And like listening to anything, listening to people talk, listening to stand up, listening to music, I think you just have to listen. Yeah, you have to listen. You hear that advice a lot in life.
Yeah, you create
like
the
most
taste.
of where you learn is listening, not talking. Most of the times where you really find things out and get. I think you learn through talking. I think you find yourself, but I think you'll never find something outside of yourself unless you truly listen. It's so important. And I heard Maynard James Keenan, the lead singer of the band Tool, say once that without input, there's no output. Or without, yeah. So if you don't have stuff that feeds into you, you will never have more to give.
That's like, I feel like comedians should also live life and have like interesting stories, interesting lives, so they can joke about that in their stand-up. So
yeah, and an interesting thing in the comedy world you'll see is comedians who get too big for their own good, and they can't joke about like the regular everyday life stuff anymore, because now they're this touring comedian and they can only joke about the touring comedian life. So you have to find ways to stay in touch.
Jokes about planes and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to not do that. You have to find a way.
Five-star hotels.
Yeah. I think like you have to be like somebody like Adam Sandler, who never changes up your lifestyle. You always just stay. Eminem is another good example. Eminem, the rapper, he found a way to. Like, Eminem is probably one of the only rappers that's really like that, where he found a way to balance his work life and his family life, and he's made that a part of his image. Like, he's notoriously there for his kids, and he cares about his family and all that, and, like, that's a hard thing to do, and I think that keeps you real. It keeps you in touch with what really matters. You can't just be... It's like if you, that same thing we were saying earlier, if you're doing 20, 30 shows a month, that's actually bad for you, I think, as a comedian, because at a certain point you're overdoing it, and now you're not having any time to live that life and to have life in between and to develop experiences that will feed into the art form that you're trying to do. You can't perform 24/7. You just can't. But people think they have to for some reason, you know. And I think a lot of people just want to fill up a calendar with dates sometimes. It's not so much about getting better. It's about making it look like they're out there.
Look like you're working.
Which is great, but yeah, it's just
you need to have balance.
It's like what you said earlier about the journey, you know. The journey itself is always the most important thing. And it's like what I said about the ideal oasis, the perfect place you're trying to get to, that doesn't exist. Like, the story of life is that place doesn't exist. You'll never find it. There's no salvation, oasis, perfect career moment where you've made it and you're successful. It's always the journey. It's always the journey. And that's what's so fun. It's what's so fun. It's fun to meet people and to feel like you're doing things for real. You know, that's what's so important. And if you're always thinking ahead of yourself or behind yourself and just trying to live away, you miss so much stuff, dude. I mean, it's just life is truly an opportunity, and it's just about how you view it, you know, and what you want to do. And I think that, like, you following your path as a comedian is super cool. It's why I like doing this show and just meeting people who are following their path. And comedy is such an interesting path to follow because it's a choice. It is. And every comedian's got a different story on how they ended up there, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you actually found it early. You're one of the few people who figured it out in high school. Coming out of high school, you're going to go right into comedy. Most people, it takes them their mid-20s by the time they get there, you know.
I'm not sure if I will do comedy for a living now. Like,
no?
I'm doing data science now, so I'm thinking of, like, doing, like, a normal job or, like, opening, like, a business or, like, startup. So I can have a, like... I'm not worried about, like, paying the bills from comedy right now. So I want to, like, first make sure that I can live like without help of anyone. And then after I will make enough money, probably I will do more comedy. But before that, I will just hit the mics, or I will just do like shows in Chicago. I will not be like touring comedian, I think, when I'm 20. Oh, but we'll see, listeners. No one knows.
Folks, 5 years from now, when he's a world famous comedian, I want you to grab this clip of him saying that and then juxtapose the two, put them next to each other.
Yes. Please do that. I would be glad if I'm wrong, and I will be a touring comedian around US.
Worldwide.
Worldwide, yeah.
I mean, that's what's so, again, that's the other crazy part about comedy nowadays is you have it's actually in a boom. You have comedians performing in stadiums in a way that they never have before.
I think
bigger audiences.
Thanks to like Kevin Hart, because I heard before it wasn't like that. Like,
no, Kevin Hart podcasts. It's both. It's the podcast world kind of put comedians on the map in a way they never were before, and they could put themselves on the map. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of these comedians who play stadiums, they do have podcasts, and they have a big the value in that realm.
Community.
Like Bert Kreischer, he was probably one of the first big stadium comics right after that whole machine thing. I feel like he was one of the first people I heard of that was doing stadiums. Now it's commonplace. But yeah, just like that whole thing with the fact that that's happening is, and I feel like, Kevin Hart probably did pave the way actually a lot back with his run from 2010 to 2015. That was when he was really hitting his stride with the movies and all of that. Because Kevin Hart's been around a long time, but his career really took off in 2010. I never really thought about that. He probably is a big part of the stadium.
That was one of the first comedians that I heard, like American comedians.
And because he's really he got so famous so fast. Yeah. Wow. His career is interesting because now he's like known for being all over the place. But it was before it was like he was in a couple movies in the early 2000s, and that's really it. Comedy's a long game. I mean, comedy is a long game. It never ends. You're gonna be 5 years down the line, a million times better than right now, and who knows where you'll be, but that's the fun part. Maybe you'll own your business and also be a super popular comedian. That's the goal, right? To do both. That probably again, living those two lives, that probably feed into your comedy in this really weird way. What kind of business is it again that you want to do? I
don't know. I'm still thinking of some ideas.
ChatGPT, let's start asking questions.
Well,
I'll tell you, for asking business related questions, again, very helpful. If you have specific questions about like, hey, what would be a smart way for me to do this and make money, it'll actually provide you ways to financially support yourself.
ChatGPT is like an uncle that knows how the world works.
A really smart uncle. A really wise uncle. Like a cat.
That always willing to help you.
Or a woman. But all right, man. Well, I think it's been a beautiful 2.5 hours. What we always like to do at the end here is two things. One, tell them the social medias where they can find you. If they saw all of this, they might as well go find you online. If they spent this much time with you, they might as well go spend some more somewhere else. Keep up with you. Keep up with the times. And also, second, last but not least, a message for the children at home, the kids watching, the people who have seen all of our wise knowledge that we have disseminated from our brains into the world. Disseminated. You know that one?
I know.
Oh, damn. See, I think I know big words. But you must know big words too then. Your English must be good. You must have good English.
Like, I can read like scientific articles and stuff,
Because
I'm pretty good at reading and listening,
Yeah, that's impressive though, honestly, because I mean, like, I feel like a lot of English speakers don't know some of the words I just asked you about. Okay. I'm telling you, like, you're probably ahead of a lot of Americans.
I was preparing for SAT and stuff, but like when I was trying to pass the test, it was COVID, so it was optional.
Interesting. You probably would have passed. I mean, because it's I'm simple as someone who professes in words, and I spend all my time on words. I feel like Americans do not appreciate words. I feel like we don't appreciate the beauty of them and what they can do. So I'm impressed with your wordsmanship, my friend. Thank you. And a message for the children who are impressed with you. A message for the children who are impressed with us, who see that we're wise men, we have a lot of knowledge, we're like owls, we're like cats, we're smart, we're wise, we know things. And so now we got to give them advice. Wow, so 1, the social medias, 2, the advice for the children. Boom.
Okay, my social media is Olzhasbek. It's like Instagram, TikTok, the same nickname. It's all OL, then just the word just and BEK, Olzhasbek. And message for the children that just keep going. I think that's the message from our conversation. Just keep going, keep pushing, no matter of what, no matter of people like liking your stuff or not, or they just view your stuff and stalking you. Just keep going. Yeah.
Yes, keep going, because it's about the journey. Because it's not about what you're doing right now and how much attention it's getting or what people are even saying in this moment. None of that stuff is important. You have to think in terms of always and forever, and what does this mean beyond right here, right now, and where does this lead, and what is what domino effect comes from me making this decision? Because those choices that we make right here, right now, when we do just keep going, those become the thing that leads us to better places. And if we don't just keep going, that becomes the thing that leads us to worse places. We just become stagnant, and we sit and we don't go anywhere. And I think that that's the problem that a lot of people end up having, is that it's so hard to break out of that. It's like a depressive cycle. And so, I think that's great advice. And I think that's something that I hope that I can only show people and lead by example and do that. And I like to think that performing and creating, that's why creating is such a beautiful thing, because through
it's so hard, but it's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful, and it's so... We all are capable of creating something, and we all have an imagination. And so I think seeing other people execute upon that and make their vision a reality, it speaks to something within you. And I think we all recognize that, and that's why we can all appreciate it. And I think we all see it in ourselves to an extent. And that's, again, why it's so important to just follow that, do those things, and not catch yourself up on whatever thing. We're really good at tricking ourselves and not following through, and it's just a shame, because there's so much we can do. There's so much potential within all of us, And that's my ultimate message for anybody. Always, it's funny that you say that, because that really is the thing I always try to send home. I'm never making something for me. I'm making it so you can see something in you. If that makes sense. And we all have that fire.
Yeah.
And that's the world I want to live in, is all of us doing that. So let's all be professional mind blowers. Let's all change the world. Let's all make something amazing. Let's all be the best comedian, the best musician, the best you.
Keep going. Keep going.
Keep going, because you're awesome, folks. You're awesome. Margot's awesome. Oscar's awesome. I'm awesome. Yeah. Everybody's awesome. And with that being said, folks... Clocking out. Double down, competition couldn't help him to rock. Missed the whole time, holy fell through the flock. That's an ordinary miracle, wealth to the block. It's a balance in the character that's calm and collect.